think they were very disappointed in the beginning, understandably so, because like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, you're making $50,000 a year as a teacher. Like in 22 years, you're gonna be making 6 figures, Brandon. You have a great, you have retirement, you have benefits. Like, you spend all this time. How are you just gonna throw it away?
The plan.
But so they were disappointed, but I think they didn't give me that hard of a time because the first Thursday of the school year when I taught, my brother died, 34 years old, and he was waiting to retire in the Air Force, or he was a technical sergeant in the Air Force. He did not like his job, and he always talked about how he was looking forward to retirement. He would talk about, oh, this amount of years till retirement. Yeah, because he got in early. Boom, he had a heart attack and died, like unexpectedly. I have his ashes right here, and this is the cross and the chain that he wore every day. So.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for checking out the channel. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit that like button on the video. It is a huge help in the algorithm, and it allows us to continue to get great guests like this. So thank you and enjoy the show. Brandon Buckingham, welcome to Jersey, baby.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Dude, of course. I appreciate you doing this last minute. This is like, Tommy was here the other night, and this is the earliest podcast I've done in, what, like 3 years, something like that? We never record in the morning, but yeah. I was like, let's do it. So I had found your channel, I guess, almost a couple years ago now. Content was amazing. I found it through like that whole Sneako thing that was going on. But I didn't realize you were, I knew you were a teacher, but you literally left that job when you had like no subscribers and went full time into this with the type of content where you got to travel around and go places.
Yep. I had under 1,000 subscribers. It was December, my first year as a teacher, and there was a massage parlor in my hometown that got busted for giving out happy endings.
Of course.
And I was like, what if I went around and asked people like what they thought about the elite spa getting busted? I filmed that video, and then I was like, man, I think I want to do this. The next Monday, I went into school and then put my 6-month resignation in, and then filmed like every week or two, stacked up videos. When my contract ended June 18th, it started.
No shit.
Yeah,
wow.
Not even 1,000 subs.
What were you teaching?
Elementary school art, pre-K through 5th.
No shit. Okay. Did you want to be a teacher like growing up? Was that the thought?
My mom's a teacher. So cool. my whole life I wanted to do it. Always loved art. I always told myself, like, a teacher has so much control over the enjoyability of a class. So I was like, I want to be that teacher that makes art enjoyable. But, your students also have a pretty big impact on the enjoyability of class when you're a teacher. So
yes.
I taught kind of in the hood of Montgomery County, and it was not for me.
How old were they?
Anywhere from 4 years old to 10.
Oh, that's tough. They're young.
Yeah, I think like the math literacy rate in that school is like 9% or 11%. Like they're failing all of their tests. Half of the kids just came to America because it's a sanctuary county, so they don't even speak English, and it's just like a culture shock for them, and their lives are difficult, and they're throwing scissors at me, trying to kick me in the balls.
Yeah, it's tough. Right out of college too, doing that.
Yeah, it was not for me.
But what's your thing? Because you look at your page, we're gonna talk about plenty of your videos today, but obviously you're naturally funny. You bring entertainment to what you do through that, but you tackle a lot of different topics. It could be everything from, your grandpa getting drunk on St. Patty's Day, which was awesome,
Papa,
to looking at the inner hood, or doing a documentary of that Mexican OT. Like, what are the things that interest you the most?
I just love talking to people, so I feel like I'm just like a really nerdy, autistic individual. So if I become interested in something, I want to learn about it, and I want to talk about it, and if I get the opportunity to speak with them in person, that would be amazing. So really, I think just having conversations, telling stories, and exploring different cultures would be the thing I'm really into. But I also like to have fun, so if I can go explore a new city and drink and make money off it, I guess.
Right.
Then that's good too.
But that's the other thing. We were talking about this right before we got on camera, but like, you're traveling to do everything. So you said you spend like 9 months out of the year on the road?
Yeah, about 8 to 9 months. If I tell everything up, I'm not home. I'm staying in an Airbnb or hotel.
And I mean, I'm just thinking about the expenses with this kind of stuff. It adds up. You got cameramen out there with you. You got your editors and you do a lot of your edits. We'll talk about that too. But you also have some editors to help with some things. It's like, how do you make money doing this?
Shout out to my Patreon. Thankfully, like literally, if I didn't have my Patreon, I would be losing money still, even with all the views I've gotten. So, and I'm very frugal. I always fly cheapest airline, try to plan things out in advance. And, oftentimes I might be sleeping on a couch or sharing a bed with my camera guy to cut costs. So shout out
There you
to
go.
Matt, Mustafa, and Eli.
It's a little close quarters right there.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. I've messed up so bad before where I think we're going to share a bed. And then we get to the place and it's like, what's half of a twin size bed? I don't even know what that's called. A single?
Is that a thing?
Yeah, I've got there before, and I'm like, all right, bro, I'm just gonna sleep on the ground. I messed this one up.
Oh, so you be sharing twin beds sometimes?
Ideally, no, but we've done it. We've done it.
That's really close. What was at the beginning though when you left the job full time and went into this? I had seen this with like the documentary you had put out when I first saw it, but there was this guy Danny Mullen, who was, I guess, like another YouTube comedy type, whatever. And you didn't know him, but you somehow got connected to him. And then there was a problem after that. What happened?
Yeah, so when I was trying to become a YouTuber, I was like, how do you even, I don't understand how it works. Like, you put out videos and then they don't get any views. Like, I just didn't want to risk quitting my job and it just being a complete failure. So I was like, well, I should probably collab with someone whose content I enjoyed. And at the time, I liked his content. So he had a tier on his Patreon that was called Release the Crack, and it cost $3,000. So I paid for that in like April and then scheduled it so the day my teaching contract ended, I would pick him up from the airport and we would film.
Oh, meaning you got to go do content with him. That's what it was.
Came out to Maryland.
Oh, he came out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you guys got along?
Yeah, I thought everything was cool at first.
And then where did it go south?
To this day, it's been over 3 years. To this day, I really still don't know why he did all that he did. I mean, people on the internet say like that he doesn't like being around people that are more talented than him or funnier than him. I don't even consider myself that, but I don't know. He was intimidated by me or something. That sounds like I'm being arrogant saying that. I don't understand why he did what he did. But moral of the story is he went around telling everyone not to collab with me, not to work with me, like people in his crew and then people in Austin, Texas.
And you're just a small creator at the time, trying to come up.
I had 1,000 subscribers. He had 450,000.
Yeah.
And when he really started kicking it up is when I was like closing in on 10,000 subscribers.
And then I had seen this in the documentary, but then you got to him in Austin and mayonnaised him.
Yeah.
What was the deal there?
So he was bad-mouthing me to a bunch of people. Someone that he bad-mouthed me to was one of my friends and was like, damn, he's saying a lot of crazy stuff about you. And I was like, yeah, I want him to stop. He won't have a conversation with me. Like, I'm trying to level with him. He won't. So he was like, all right, well, when he comes to collaborate with me, I'll give you the location.
That's it. That's it. But what I really like about your content is that you inject like this level of, I can't place what it is. There's something it reminds me of, but this level of creativity to how you say things, right? Not just like the words you're using and stuff like that, but where you'll be doing it. Alessia, can you pull up the Kensington video on his channel? So go to recent and scroll down a little bit. A little more.
Right there, middle.
Right here. There.
Yeah. So like we'll turn this on first. Put this at the beginning if you don't mind. Let's get that volume. All right, go ahead.
Kensington, Philadelphia is the most disturbing place in all of America. Aptly named the City of Zombies, the streets are lined with lost souls nodding out in broad daylight from extreme drug abuse. Every YouTuber I've seen visit Kensington, Philadelphia has gone with a bodyguard, and all of them say, if you go alone, you will die.
If we were to go here on our own, how would it go for us? What would happen if I came with no security? Oh, you easily would get shot, probably killed.
So I ventured unarmed and by myself to Kensington, Philadelphia to experience firsthand life in the City of Zombies.
Oh, you know what one I was thinking of? I was thinking of the Mexican OT.
I'm here
one.
at McPherson Square in Kensington,
I got it mixed up, but like you'll do
outside
something.
this
You pause right
gated.
there. You'll do like you'll be standing on a ladder on a house and just start talking to the camera and like do like those old school spaghetti western zoom ins, and then you'll be sitting on a patio in front of a pool or whatever. What makes you like tick with those things? How do you say like, okay, I want to say these lines right here and then I want to say those lines right there?
So I love hiking. It's like one of my favorite activities. So a lot of these videos, I'll just be walking around my neighborhood or I'll go to a hiking spot and I'll just look around and be like, oh, it would be cool if I got up here. What does this look like? And it's typically like my girlfriend filming. So yeah, I'll be like, what if I got up on the ladder and we talked on the ladder? Literally
Oh,
just,
you got your girl filming.
Yeah, for
Oh,
the
that's
talking head
clutch.
stuff. Yeah, I don't take her to Kensington or anything. Yeah, it's just whatever I think is interesting in the moment. A lot of my stuff is improv. I mean, I like do a lot of heavy planning with my schedule and where I'm going, but I don't usually write questions or like.
Oh, I kind of gathered that. But are you saying like some of the parts at the beginning where you're setting the stage, that's improv?
No, I will write out my talking head, but then like where I'm doing it is all completely
Oh,
improv.
got it.
Like the locations that I'm picking.
Yeah, it seems that way. It seems very real, like Man on the Street.
Yeah.
And this was actually, if we're on the Kensington video, this was the one that I talked with Tommy about this too, because he did a Kensington video.
Mm-hmm.
This was the one where you two like had CNN come at you or something like that.
Yeah, they said that me and Tommy are exploiting people for clicks.
But what are they doing?
Me and Tommy want to go to the CNN headquarters in New York and ask them for some journalism tips because they called us out. And I mean, Tommy G's one of the best guys you could meet.
Yes.
So this video upset people, right? As did Tommy's, because we called it Life in the City of Zombies. And they said that was dehumanizing the people that are addicted out there. But from my perspective, I didn't label them that. That's just what I was heard Kensington was called. So I wasn't trying to be dehumanizing. It was just like, oh, they called it the City of Zombies. You go out there, everyone's like, yeah, there's zombies all around. Like, if you go there, it's just what they call it.
Yeah, it's hard. If anyone's ever driven through there, I'm from down in South Jersey, not far from Philly. Like Kensington is, I mean, you were there recently. Like it's a whole different. It's almost like you turn into that section of the city, and it's no man's land.
Yeah, and I'm super passionate about drug awareness, rehabs, having people get help, and this strength stuff that they brought into the city is devastating people. Like not only does it cause your flesh to rot, but like what it does to your psyche is insane.
The what stuff?
Trank, the stuff that they're mixing with the.
Oh right, yeah.
It's like ketamine, but it's not approved for human consumption. So wherever you shoot it up, it will like go to your feet or your hands and then start to eat through your skin. It's really a horrible thing. And a guy we ran into in this video really wanted us to film him shooting up, which seemed kind of like a ethical red line. So I really wanted to clarify, like, are you sure? Are you sure? And he wanted to show us. And yeah, it was much different than, I mean, I've seen a lot of people shoot up heroin. And it's not like this at all. Like as soon as he shot it up, he walked, and within a minute later, he had no idea what was going on, was incoherent, and yeah, that's why they call them zombies. It's like it's really horrifying and terrible.
Now I know you're documenting, right? And this is a part of the process. When you document painful stuff too, you're gonna get that. But like, what's that like to know that that's about to happen? I mean, you have cameras rolling, even forget that they're rolling, but you're standing there. You're a normal person in the sense that you're not addicted to any of this stuff. You don't do this stuff. You're just here watching. Like, what does that feel like to see a guy that you know is about to literally transform into something almost subhuman?
It's honestly really upsetting. Like when I left filming this video, I probably could have cried because it's just, if you take a walk through Kensington, there is so much suffering and pain and literal rotting flesh all around the city. So for people that want to speak about it and try to be judgmental for YouTubers going there, I think more people should go there and more people should document it. And we should try to figure out how we can help. And I don't have the answer, right? But I'd be open to suggestions. And if someone presented a good suggestion, I would love to go back, do another video and promote the suggestion, you know?
Yeah, I like that. But how do you deal with, like, do you worry about your safety going to some places like these?
It's a thought for sure. But I mean, when you're dealing with homeless people or drug addicted people, typically they don't have the funds to carry a gun. So they would have a knife, and I'm looking at them in their eyes, and usually they don't seem hostile, and I don't come up to them filming. I ask for permission beforehand. So, you know, I have faith that I could outrun them.
That's not reassuring.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but it's fascinating that a kid from more rural, like Cook County, Maryland, gets into the nitty gritty of the inner cities and is interested in this stuff. Like, did you grow up on hip hop? Is that part of it, or?
Yeah. So I'm from Carroll County, Maryland, which is like one of the.
Did I say Cook County? I'm sorry. I fucked that up.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, no one's heard of Carroll County. So yeah, I'm from Carroll County, Maryland. It's one of the whitest places in Maryland, one of the safest places in Maryland. Very, very nice. I grew up on like 2 acres, farm land all around, cornfields, horses. Closest mall is like freaking a half hour away. I got to drive like 15 minutes to the grocery store. But I love it. There's no traffic ever. There's no crime, nothing.
So this is way different. You're out of your
But
You're out of your wavelength here.
yeah. It's it's so triggering for me to be in New York City because it's like you can't drive anywhere. It's just hell. It's like my own personal little hell. It's
I parked
noisy.
this car for him downstairs.
Yeah, I literally.
Unless he wasn't here for that.
Yeah, like bro, I can't parallel park good. This is yeah. I never am gonna leave the country. It's just where I need to be. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of hip hop. I don't know why or how. Like nobody in my family got me into it. But by the time I was 12 years old, I was like obsessed with Nas, Big L, De La Soul, Idea, Atmosphere, even like UK stuff like High Focus. I don't know, Dirty. That's a rapper. I don't know if I can say that, but yeah, Dirty.
You say whatever. you
Ocean
want.
Wisdom, all these people. So
Eclectic taste. I like that.
yeah, I was really into like old school hip hop. And then as far as the being interested in like the drug stuff is Carroll County borders Baltimore County, and Baltimore has one of the worst opioid problems in America. So I've been to over like 20 funerals from like friends dying. And, it's really like ravaged our area. You know,
Yeah.
like, best friend growing up, we have the same exact birthday. Next door neighbor, he died. Just endless people. I could just list.
You know what? That's we talk so much about these big drug dealers and everything, and getting them off the streets. The biggest ones are the Sacklers and what people like that have done. I mean, I assume you've seen some of the recent content that's come out or read some of the books about that, but that pisses me off to no end because you have these rich corporate whatever paying off their political donors to make a lot of money off people and addict entire swaths and regions of America to this stuff. To people that might have done nothing wrong. A lot of people did nothing wrong. They got injured or something, and then their doctor prescribed them 12,000 milligrams of a Percocet. It's crazy to me that happens, and it's heartbreaking to hear so many people that I talk to, whether it be on here or in life, who know people, like friends they were growing up with, who died from this stuff. It's really tough. But you know, there's also they've found a way to, you know, they'll take drugs like that and then they'll kind of expand it to other things too. And sometimes it feels like to me, I don't know if my tinfoil hat brain's tingling, but you know, I'll see like how it'll get to the hoods. For example, cocaine becomes crack, becomes something like that, more affordable, if you will, for poor people. And it almost seems like it's structured a little bit, no?
Yeah, I mean, who's bringing it in? How is it able to stay out there? You know, I don't have the answers for sure, but I think it's crazy that this trank stuff is new, like within the past decade. I've never even heard of trank until this year. But I grew up in a really unfortunate time where everyone was doing oxys, and then obviously the oxys start to get hard to afford, so you start doing heroin. You used to be able to do heroin for years, and then fentanyl came in, and then you have no idea what you're dosing. So that's why everyone in my area died, because they were doing heroin, and the next thing you know, this fentanyl stuff came out. Like I feel like I started noticing it in like 2008, and no one knew what they were dosing anymore. No one knew what fentanyl was, so people just started dropping.
It's crazy how, like they said, like 2 grains or whatever the hell they call it can just kill you the first time. I mean, I've known people who thought they were buying another drug and died from that too, which is similar to what you were talking about.
It's completely insane. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, of course I could be wrong, but it seems like the government has to have something to do with it.
You know, there was this guy who wrote a book called Fentanyl Inc., and his name is escaping me now, but he was on Joe Rogan's show years ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And that was an eye-opener for me, where you start to wonder how much the government could at least be a involuntary allower of this kind of thing, because this dude, kind of savage, he went undercover, like just as an author. He wasn't even a drugs or, you know, crime author. He'd been a pop culture author, and somehow, I forget, like fell into this story, ended up writing it. But he went undercover to China to see how easy it is to get it here, and then I'm forgetting some of the details, but then charted some of the course to like Mexico and how they'll just bring it right across. And he's like, how could this not be, like, how can you just let this keep happening? Obviously people are always going to get in, some crime's always going to happen, but it's so rampant, and it happened, I don't have the numbers in front of me, maybe you could find some data, Alessi, but like it happened so fast to where there was none of it, and then all the streets are filled with it, and people are dying left and right. You got people dying in clubs in New York because they think they're taking coke and it's coke laced with fentanyl. I mean, it's so part of it feels like it's some sort of like opium war.
It's insane, and for people that haven't experienced it and it's not in their area, they don't understand. It is one of the biggest epidemics in America. Like, it is killing so many people. It is destroying lives, and it's just insane to see what it's done and how it's ravaged these communities.
Hey guys, if you have a second, please be sure to share this episode around on social media and with your friends, whether it's Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, doesn't matter. It's all a huge help. It gets new eyeballs on the show, and it allows us to grow and survive. So thank you to all of you who have already been doing that, and thank you to all of you who are going to do so now. Now, you've done like content in Kensington, and I'm sure in some of the other videos, some of this stuff comes up, but have you thought about doing like some sort of feature series specifically on that in all different kinds of neighborhoods around the country?
Yeah, I would love to. Last year, me and Tommy did one in Baltimore where we went out and just went into some of the abandoned homes and saw the needles, and then just walking around the street, over half the people you see are like strung out on drugs in this neighborhood of Baltimore. So yeah, just interviewing them and offering some perspective. I just wish there was like something, like I wish I could do these videos and there was a solution or an answer that I could provide or promote at the end. But yeah, I mean, I would love to cover it, but sometimes it does feel like weird. I'm like, damn, I'm just going there and talking to people and like, how can I help, you know?
Right. Well, Tommy had a really good line. I'll probably fuck it up, but he was talking about, you can't boil the ocean, but you can boil your pot. And I think that's kind of what you guys are doing. In the little way, you can figure out ways to help down the line. In the meantime, you're at least showing people these things. I mean, I had seen, I don't know if we can pull it up, Alessi, but Brandon's O-Block video. I had seen that back when I guess that was shortly after I found you. You came out with that.
Yeah, that was right in that era.
Yeah, but, just go to popular.
Yeah, it's my number one.
Yeah, it should be number one. Let's hit this for a second.
They make it seem like we just so bad, so dangerous. They make it seem like we monsters. We just like normal people. We just be chilling. Look.
Your hair's unreal there.
The segregated White City Amusement Park was built in 1905 on 14 acres of land in the heart of what is in modern days called O-Block. This park was famous for its attractions, including a tower that could be seen for 14 miles in all directions. After its demolition in 1946, the area would once again become famous, this time for much more sinister reasons. In 1955, America's first cooperatively owned African-American White City Amusement Park stood. The low-income apartment complex called Parkway Gardens would house more than 20,000 residents, and throughout nearly 5 decades, the most noteworthy thing about the area was that Michelle Obama once resided there. That is until the 2000s, when gang violence between the gangster disciples and the black disciples reached a tipping point. These rival sets hate each other and only live 1 block away.
The camera
Parkway
works
Gardens,
so good.
formerly known as Wick City, gets its current name O-Block from deceased BD member O.D. Perry, who was shot and killed at only 20 years of age by 17-year-old GD member K.I. And as of 2022, there have been 36 confirmed murders between O-Block and STL-EBT alone. But while many people speak and speculate
It's like
on
the worst moment to laugh
very
in the whole
few people
video.
venture into Parkway
Yeah,
Gardens
but
themselves
that
to
was
speak
kinda
to the
funny.
residents
Yeah,
and
no,
find
it was
out
with
what
the-
life is really like inside O-Block.
I'm with some niggas that's gon' pull up, let it spray. With some niggas that's gon' hop up out that car, broad day. Well, you better run, cause them shorties hopping out with Drake. They do this for fun, hop out hitting niggas in they face.
All right, you guys, so I'm back in O-Block. I'm here to do some serious interviews about what life is like right here in the community of Parkway
So you're just
Gardens.
standing-
So we're meeting up with
Are
a
you
young,
smoking?
up-and-coming
Yeah, I'm
rapper from
smoking a
O-Block
blunt.
named G. We're going to sit down with him and ask him some questions about what life was like growing up right here at Parkway Gardens.
That shirt's
What's up, Ryan?
swag, by the way.
Thank you, thank you.
So security guards is always are going crazy out here.
Bitch,
So what you been up to?
I've been chilling, man. I told you about some other stuff I have going on, but
In the last episode, I pulled up to O-Block to do some sus rapping when G-Nuck, a rapper from the area, said this.
we just lost one of my close friends last night. Well, not last night, yesterday.
We lost who?
One of my close friends yesterday. Count Too Hot.
Apparently, the night before we came to O-Block, resident and up-and-coming hip-hop artist Too Hot was shot and murdered only 7 blocks away from Parkway Gardens. Right now, we're in a staircase in the middle of O-Block. Who am I here with?
G-Nut, what's wrong?
How long you lived here for?
Been living since like 2004, my whole life.
You got 18 years in this hoe.
For sure.
What is it like growing up in O-Block?
Shit, you gonna see a little bit of everything. Like, you just gotta eat or starve, survive,
Eat or
or
starve.
don't survive. Shit,
It's like a fast life out here, isn't it?
they know.
What's it like seeing all the talent come through the area? 2004, you said you've been here, so you've seen everything.
Whole block talented, like everybody like know how to do something good with their life. Like this ain't the end for everybody for sure. Yeah. Everybody knows something that can make them a career, like and be some engineers, beat makers, all type of shit. People don't even know.
A lot of artists out here.
For sure.
What are some of the pros that live in O Block?
Shit.
I live in a farm area. There's not shit to do. There's no malls. You know what I'm saying?
See, nah, you always gonna have something to do right here. It don't matter what it is, you gonna have something to do, cause it's like it's a lot of motherfuckers over here. You gonna be tweaked. It's gonna be fun, gang. Like that shit fun as hell. Like a little arcade or something.
You got all your friends. Everyone's rapping. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't no friends. We our family over here. We our brothers.
So do you feel like people in O Block like stay clicked up and stay like loyal to one another?
For sure. That's what we is. That's what we stand for.
You feel like gun violence isn't a problem here in O Block?
For me being around, like. I don't think it's really no problem. It's just like people like they make stuff bigger than what it is. They want us to be monsters.
They say it's the most dangerous block in America. No one will even step foot in this area if you're not from here.
You right here.
You feel like there's a big misconception about violence in O Block?
For sure. Like it's just the outside looking in. It'd be the people that never been over here saying how dangerous it is.
All right, let's pause
On
it there.
July
Let's see.
4th.
That's really good back and forth, by the way. There was a lot in there, but he makes an interesting point because I wonder about this sometimes, you know, especially like politically, people like talking points on every little thing. You turn on every channel, they'll be like, oh, Chicago, it's so bad. And it is, you know, there's a lot of issues. But do you feel like sometimes when you actually do, for example, go into a place like this and, you know, you're okay. It's obviously dangerous. It's not great. But like, do you think some of it is like we're almost, the truth is more in between?
I think being white and having a camera makes you so much safer in the hood. You know, I don't like to spell it out for people too much. I like them to draw their own conclusions. Obviously, like the morning that we filmed this video, his best friend had just got shot while we were leaving O Block. In this video, people were shooting right there. So I think that obviously the mainstream media sucks, but I do think there's a massive gun violence problem. But yeah, if he wants to say that there isn't, and he wants to talk about that, you know, I'll definitely let him and let the audience draw their own conclusion. But
yeah, I think that was a cold take personally.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
he said, I mean, you know, that's the way he's like, eat or starve. That's it. That is, it's crazy that probably one county over, it's nothing like that.
definitely. I mean, it's fascinating to hear his perspective as well. And 3 months after this video came out, he got shot like 6 or 7 times, broke his arm, and yeah, I think now he's in jail. So,
Do you stay in touch with a lot of these guys?
yeah, if they, so certain people I meet, I get along with them great, and it's awesome. There's certain people that I meet that you know, maybe I don't want to keep in contact with them. Or I don't really like them that much. So some of them I do, some of them I don't. Because there's plenty of times I go to do a video and then, you know, they're hitting me up every single day asking me to repost their music, and then they start demanding money from me or threatening me if I don't do them favors. Not to say that any of them did that, but yeah. So I would say it's like half and half. I would love to keep in contact with them. I try to get people to start a YouTube channel. I'm always like trying to tell them like, you should start. It shouldn't take me coming here and filming you for this to come out. Like, you guys should be filming your own stuff. You have interesting culture, interesting stories. Start monetizing. So people try to say like I'm a culture vulture or I take from the hood. It's like every hood I've gone to, I've always said like, you guys should start your own channel. You guys should start vlogging. You guys should start doing whatever you're interested in and monetizing it. So yeah, if people want to stay in contact and pick my brain about that, I'm always open to it. But yeah, if they want to like hit me up and demand things from me,
Yeah, it's a problem.
I'll probably stop answering.
Yeah, I mean, people are always going to find something to attack, man. It's like, especially if you're doing good work, people get jealous of it. You saw CNN got jealous of you, and I take it as a compliment if I were you.
Yeah.
But
Well, because me and Tommy's video about Kensington was way better than their video. They literally did the same thing, except at the end of their video, they were like, and there's also a problem of YouTubers coming here. It's like, oh yeah, sorry, we're not labeled journalists officially like you guys. But I would say that Tommy G is 10 times the journalist of anyone on CNN stuff.
He's incredible. I'm proud of that guy because he's doing ballsy things, and you should be very proud of yourself too, because I see you going in some similar lanes now as well. Like, and you guys obviously make a great team. But speaking about him, like, he started off as a prankster and then was like, hey, let's cover the stuff that they don't want to cover, and we'll tell it like it is. And that's why YouTube wins, because, in my opinion, because people can smell bullshit. Even like not a nice way to think about it, but think about like some of the dumbest people you know. They still have like unless it's a politician
Little
talking.
intuition.
Yeah, they still have a bullshit meter on things, and so when people see like man on the street, there's something real about it. When people see some fucking CNN reporter with 10 pounds of makeup on her face and, you know, wearing like a pantsuit saying, I'm live in Chicago, Tom, like, they don't take that seriously, you know?
Yeah. No, so this O Block video is really interesting because prior to this video, neither me or Tommy had ever contacted someone from the hood and met up with them and did a video about them.
Wait, this video was 2022, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but it was filmed in May. Yeah, so this was the first time. So me and Tommy had originally gone to O Block and did sus rapping, where we say homoerotic rap bars as like a prank. You know, so prior to this,
that just hit upstairs.
prior to this, I had gone to Jacksonville, but didn't connect with anyone. Just literally walked around the area and talked to people and did like a documentary about the hood there. I had gone to Baltimore and walked around and done a homeless documentary. I had done Skid Row, but yeah, and like what me and Tommy do now. Neither of us were doing it prior to this video. You know, like we kind of, not that this was the reason, but like this was kind of a turning point of like we kind of found something that I enjoyed doing this video more than I enjoyed being, you know, gay in the hood. and that video is funny. The sus rapping is really funny.
Can we pull that up? Sus rapping, gay in the hood.
Yeah, sus rapping.
Do
the Milwaukee one. The Milwaukee one is so funny.
Do you know which? You know,
sus rapping in Milwaukee.
Try to stab it up.
It's probably got like 300K.
All right.
But
sus rapping.
So yeah, it's people might not know it. Like me and Tommy used to do a lot more like comedy stuff.
Is that it? The second one?
See there. Type in Milwaukee after sus rapping. I'm sorry.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm just making sure we get it.
No, but yeah, me and Tommy we did a lot of funny stuff, kind of more in the prank, man on the street, funny lane, and we both kind of enjoyed it, but weren't in love with it.
Right.
And then,
well, I think part of it is the two of you guys are also, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but you're also like very intelligent. So you are thinking about a lot of things. And so great comedians are often intelligent, but I mean, look at George Carlin, for example, like he moved past comedy with some things and comment on culture. I think guys like you'd never be able to fully stay in that box because there's too much on your mind for good reason.
Yeah, and even now I still like to bounce around and do funny stuff now and then. But you know, Tommy has just paved the way and become like he's at the forefront of this journalism scene, and it's amazing because he deserves it, and he's such a good guy, and it's such a better fit than the prank stuff. But Tommy is hilarious.
He's so funny.
He is hilarious. He's so quick witted, and the guy's like a freaking genius. Did he talk to you about his real estate stuff?
Yes, he did. He feels like to me like he's 10 moves ahead on stuff.
Yeah.
And I can see when you see people exploding like that, you obviously want to figure out like, okay, what is it? For him, it's a combination, in my opinion, of him being happy-go-lucky, but also like, don't be fooled. Guy's smart as hell.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, and he's just taking off. I feel like we just like flip-flopped, inspiring each other back and forth. And then, bro, lately it's just been like I'm just at awe of what he's doing. Like he started his wrestling foundation in Milwaukee. Yeah. You know, he's got a home, he's got married, he's had a kid. Like now I'm like looking up to him, like damn, bro. I'm just so proud of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't wait to start a wrestling foundation. I can't wait to get married and have a kid. You know. So,
you grew up as a wrestler too, right?
Yeah, wrestled since 3rd grade.
No shit.
Yeah, Tommy got 4th in the state in I think Wisconsin maybe.
When he was in high school.
Yeah, and I got 6th in Maryland, and then he wrestled D3, and I wrestled NCWA, which also competes in D3 and D2.
And you're long. You know, you don't think of like the typical wrestler is like tall and what are you like 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah, 6'3". I got that heterosexual twink thing going on.
Well, you were pretty good.
Yeah, I was decent. I had a move called the spladle, which was known.
Spladle.
It was known as a junk move, like a trash move. But because I was so long and flexible, I became very good at it. Because I'm not like that strong, but I'm like flexible and have really good balance and stuff. So
well, I saw you when you were training to fight Ice Poseidon and then beat him. When I guess that was like the influencer boxing realm or whatever.
It was
like
not a fair fight.
Why do you say that?
Like it's Ice Poseidon. He never played a sport. Like I couldn't believe he was even down to fight me. But we asked like everyone, and no one wanted to.
But you took the training seriously.
Definitely.
You were cut the fuck up, bro. I was
think-
impressed with that.
Anyone can knock out anyone, so there's no way I was, gonna let
Yeah.
the Ice Poseidon do that to me. But it was possible for sure.
Was that experience? How long were you training up for that?
6 months with Sam Hyde and Jason Estrada out in Rhode Island.
All right, wait a second. How'd you get hooked up with them?
So Sam Hyde and $1 Million Extreme in general, Charles Carroll, Nick Rochefort, I was always a huge fan of them ever since like 2013, 2014. I saw this video called Bass FX that I thought was hilarious. And then, yeah, when I started coming up on YouTube, their editor and filmer, Jet Neptune, shouted me out on Instagram and was like, yo, if you guys want to find good YouTube content, you got to watch Brandon Buckingham. And I was like, what, Jet? Oh my God, bro, I love MDE, And then Jet invited me out to Tampa, Florida to go to Creator Clash. And then that was when Sam and the iDubbbz stuff was going on.
And the what? Can you explain that?
Sam Hyde and iDubbbz had a beef. iDubbbz went to like film a documentary about him. And
I don't know anything about this. Tell us all.
so iDubbbz did try to do a bad faith documentary about Sam, and then it didn't go how he wanted it to. In his words, I'm usually used to being the puppet master, and it didn't work. So he didn't want to release it. So Sam obviously had his guard up, so he was filming the whole time. So then he released it and caused iDubbbz a bunch of shit, and then iDubbbz ended up putting it out, and it just made iDubbbz look really bad.
And what's his full background? Because I try to be careful when I read Wikipedia pages because it's edited sometimes against people, but he kind of seems to be all over the place with some controversy. What's Sam's deal, and why do some people not like him?
Sam is a comedian, and Sam does not hold back joking about anything, and yeah, so he's rubbed some people the wrong way, but
Right.
I think he's hilarious. So yeah, essentially how I actually started training boxing is because at that Creator Clash thing, iDubbbz had said, and if you guys don't know about this, it probably sounds ridiculous, Squirtle was talking about Charmander, and then so at the Creator Clash thing, iDubbbz had said that Dr. Mike would never fight on a card with Sam Hyde. So I actually
Wait, like Dr. Mike, the
the YouTuber, yeah, because
the doc?
yeah, because Sam Hyde wanted to be on the card so they banned Sam Hyde from the event, right? But I was there, and then I saw Dr. Mike outside of the event. Coincidentally, I was literally, a fan asked me to smoke, I think a bong in his car. And we were walking over there, and then I just ran into Dr. Mike. And I was like, "Yo, it's Dr. Mike. Get the thing out." And then I was like, "Hey, Dr. Mike, how do you think about the fight? Da 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 da." What do you have to say to Sam Hyde, who was actually banned from the event? And he was like, "Sam Hyde?" He didn't even know who he was. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry to Sam Hyde." So it proved that iDubbbz lied. Sam saw that, reposted it on his Instagram, followed me, and then Keemstar, actually,
Oh boy, here he comes.
Keemstar, I was trying to get him to sign me to his promotion, and he said, if you can get Sam Hyde to train you for your fight, then I'll sign you. So I was like, hey Sam, can you train me? And he was like, yeah, come out here. And the next week I went out there. I lived down the street for him. I lived with Jet for 2 or 3 months, and I lived literally down the street from Sam for 2 or 3 months. Trained with him.
6-month camp.
Trained with him all the time. Yeah. Shout out Big Six Boxing, Jason Estrada, Sam Hyde, MDE, all those guys.
You did a good job. I mean, I would imagine the discipline you learn training wrestling growing up pretty much prepares you for that. Is that fair to say?
Decently enough. I am not a boxer. I don't like taking shots to the head, and I don't even like punching people in the face, to be honest. So I'm definitely not a boxer. I learned that.
Well, you were pretty good at it. We got your footage here. On there, you got a little haymaker there. Woo!
Yeah, all my training went right out the window. Get the hands at the waist.
Yeah, everyone's
Bull
got a
rushing
plan.
throwing ridiculous punches. But I lost every single round of sparring I did in my training camp. So as soon as he started looking at me with these eyes, I was like, bro, I'm just gonna get him.
Yeah, what's Mike Tyson's line? Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
It's great. People work on bags and they're like, oh, this is just like it. Nope.
Bro, my whole game plan was to keep my guard high, work behind my jab, and clinch. But as soon as he was hurt, I was like, hands down, haymakers.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's a good experience to do it, but we need your head. So, maybe don't do that too many times.
Yeah, I was, I got dropped 3 times in sparring. I thought I broke my jaw. I was getting really bad headaches. And like I said, I never won a single round. But no, you got to spar hard, and you have to be prepared if you're going to go out there.
Fuck yeah.
In a 10,000 person arena. I was at the Moody Center in Austin.
Fuck yeah.
So,
do we have that sus rapping video, by the way? It's right here. We said we were going to. All right, let's play that real quick.
Yeah, I want to say shout out to Ice Poseidon and Paul Danino for accepting that fight. I really thank him for that because, bro, we asked everyone. No one wanted to do it.
Well, you wanted to do it with Sneako, and then
Yeah, but
That
he's
one's
such an
tough.
alpha male tough guy. I mean, he could never risk fighting anyone and losing.
That would have been nice to see you house him.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would have been really nice. All right, let's play this real quick.
Oh, so y'all gay?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the
Buckethead show, Buckethead.
There has been more people that have been incarcerated out of this area than any area in the entire world.
And we're gonna go rap gay.
I think it was Tommy's idea.
Guys, we are officially in 53206, most incarcerated zip code in the country. 6 out of 10 dudes walking around have been to the pen. This place is the real deal, so.
This is the
at the leopard.
Milwaukee slum man. AK-47 is the tool. Let me yak a fucking fool on his mic. It's midnight. It's time to go out and find a nigga. I mean, smoke his ass, blow his ass up and down to that.
This shit got demonetized so quick.
So you open up your eyes to see that surprise.
That's hot. I'll tell you like this. Gang related, real shit. I'm a crip, no cap. I lay a young man down, straight suck the shit out his ass. That's what I said. No loitering, no trespassing. Check this out.
Oh, you're playing Pac. Oh. Let's get ready to rumble.
What up, G? How you doing? Huh? I'm trying to get a record deal, spit some hot bars, super hot, MC doobie hot. You feel me? Can I kick something for you?
Okay,
Keep it real. Don't be a yes man, all right? Give it to me raw.
just spit it.
Hey, yo, when life gives you lemons, I go gay for pay. Strange man piss in my ass, call that gay lemonade.
I ain't feeling it. I ain't feeling it.
How about this? Red Rover, how about you bend me over?
Tommy.
Why not, bro? That shit was cold. You don't like it ill, apparently.
That's gay shit, man.
Oh
We
my
talk about
God.
other men. We talk about
Oh
bitches,
my
man.
God.
We talk about bending bitches over, fucking bitches in their ass and shit like that, man. That's bullshit, gangster shit, man.
I thought it was the other way around. Call me Barack Obama, cause I'm gay and my wife's a man. Take you out late at night, your dick, my hand.
He grimy as a motherfucker. We keep guns around here, man.
Hey, yo, I'm so gay, I'm a criminal. Aggressive homosexual. Menace to society. He looked at me like I'm not gay. Boy, don't lie to me.
I'm dropping out the pocket like my name is Tony Romo. It would be accurate if you called me a homo. Some people say America's not a gangster. What do you say?
People,
about
we'll,
that?
we'll put this link in the description so they can watch. Dude, he also like has some. He's like, "Hey, how you doing, man? I'm just from Milwaukee here out in the hood." Like something about the delivery there is so perfect because then people are like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And then you're wearing like a leopard suit.
Yeah. No, definitely. That was a funny thing about Tommy is like, you know, I'm from a really nice, great area. Ever since I've known Tommy, he's lived in the hood, like really in the hood. So Tommy, he is fully assimilated into the hood.
Guys, if you're still watching this video and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, please take 2 seconds and go hit it right now. Thank you. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting life decision with all the videos he's doing as well. Because again, I asked him like the same question. Do you worry about your safety with some of this? Like some of these guys you were saying that hit you up, like, oh, you know, put my music on or I'll fuck you up. Like if he's living near it too, like maybe they could.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of scary, no?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think Tommy should move out of the hood, but he's, you know, he's a smart guy and he knows what he's doing and he's building a real estate empire. And he,
Yes.
you know, he stays in a nicer place now for sure.
Gotcha.
But when I first went out there in 2021 and stayed at his apartment, I was like, bro, what the fuck?
We're living in a trap house.
Like, what are you doing? What is this?
That's so funny. It's very on brand. But like, he was telling me now a lot of guys will hit him up, right? And he'll do videos based on wherever they are if he's interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
But you had been saying, I guess the O Block one was one of the first ones where you set it up ahead of time. Did they hit you up or did you hit them up?
At that point, like no one would have hit me or Tommy up for that stuff because you know all we were doing was like messing around, like doing the prank stuff, and you know I was still doing some more interview stuff, but yeah, definitely no one was hitting us up.
So how did you consummate that? Like,
How did I get in contact with the O Block guys?
yeah.
I started doing research about O Block, who was from there, and just hit up every rapper that I could find. There's a rapper named
the rappers.
you know Lil Reese. Yeah.
I know Lil Reese.
Chief Keef. What's is
yeah, I know Chief
Is
Keef.
he on
Yeah,
Hate Being Sober or Bitches Love Sosa or one of those songs?
Yeah.
He's on one of those songs.
probably.
So I'd like to take this time to say, fuck Lil Reese. He scammed me for $150 back then. He said he would do a 10-minute interview for $300. I just send the full payment up front. I said I'll send half up front, half when I
And he didn't do
meet
it.
you. I gave him the money and he never answered. So
Over $150.
yeah, I mean, how down bad can you be? Lil
That's
Reese?
down bad, man.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the Reaper of O Block. He's supposed to be rich and famous, like, and you're scamming me. It's really tough. Really tough. So shout out to him.
All right, well,
But-
we got that on the record.
Yeah, no, I've been saying fuck Lil Reese ever since then. Because I mean, bro, is that gangster?
A little.
No, not of him to steal $150.
No,
from
it's
me?
gangster of you to call out shit for what it is.
And I'm not gangster. I just like, bro, if you, like, come on, bro, $150, like, it's just so weak. But yeah, shout out to G-Nuck and Ike Mana and all those guys. That's who we contacted.
And so now, do you have a lot of people who will hit you up?
Yeah.
And that's how you go versus you hitting them?
I still mostly do stuff that I'm mostly still hitting people up because I'm pretty specific about what I want to do. But yeah, bro, I have like dozens, if not several hundreds of people all over America that are like, come to my hood, come do a documentary about me. And
Well, when you hit people up, how maybe it's different every time, but you know, you're talking about going into their inner sanctum as an outsider and documenting it and using it for your content. Like, is it difficult to earn their trust, or do people kind of get on board relatively quickly?
it feels like people trust me relatively quick. I don't know. But yeah, it seems it's definitely getting easier and easier. But yeah, no, it seems like, yeah, it always goes pretty smoothly. I meet them within a few minutes of us talking. They're letting their guard down and comfortable, and we're, having genuine conversation.
And what are you in New York filming right now?
I've done a documentary about Harlem, specifically where Big L was from.
Big L,
his
R.I.P.
block. And then I did a video about Cortland projects where rappers like Shy K, B-Love, Booba Savage are from. And then I did a documentary about Sugar Hill where, old school rappers like AZ are from, but also like Jules Santana, Sugar Hill, D.D. Osama, Nadia Osama, rest in peace, E-Dot Baby, people like that.
And these are guys you grew up listening to, in some cases, and then
AZ
some are
definitely,
newer.
but yeah, some like a lot of them are the newer people. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of rap music, so I wanted to come out here because I was just, it's cool for me. I'm like fanboying out. Like, I'm like, what? Like, there's the Big L mural. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, this is where he filmed Put It On, and they're just telling me all this stuff, and it's fascinating.
Dude,
yeah,
he was the best that never was.
yeah. I mean, man,
My God.
if people haven't heard of him, I would say listen to the 98 freestyle, and also listen to his 7-minute freestyle with Jay-Z.
The freestyle, the 98 freestyle is incredible. The freestyle with Jay-Z is the best freestyle I've ever heard in my life. And like, it's Big L for a full verse, Jay-Z for a verse, Big L for a verse, and then Jay-Z for a verse. And I think it was Babito Garcia in the studio, which if you played NBA Street Volume 2 growing up, that was the guy going, Babito Garcia, let's go.
Yeah.
But like literally, Jay-Z is incredible in his bars. But like, it's nothing like what Big L could do. I mean, some of those lines, like we would just sit there like, oh my
Bro,
God.
Jay-Z had to be so disappointed that it was Big L that he was rapping with.
Dude.
Because against anyone else, it would have looked amazing.
Oh my God.
But no, he had Jay-Z damn near stuttering.
Yeah, are we able, is that?
It's probably copyrighted because I think
Yeah.
it's either the Mobb Deep instrumental or it's the Milkbone Keep It Real instrumental. But they sound very similar as well.
Yeah,
So.
if people, I guess we won't watch it on here because it's definitely copyrighted, but if people at home want to check that out, type in Jay-Z Big L freestyle, you're welcome.
Yeah,
It's so fucking good.
it's so good.
But he was killed on, like, in his neighborhood, right?
Yeah, they said he was born there. He lived there his entire life. He did what he did outside in that same block, and he died right there on that block.
Who killed him?
I believe it was someone that thought it was his brother, or they killed him because it was his brother, and I think that the guy who killed him ended up getting killed as well.
That's so sad.
It's senseless. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is completely senseless. And as much as I love rap music, I do hate like the cycle of violence that seems to go hand in hand with it. For sure.
Do you have like, because you're talking with these guys on the ground, and sometimes you're talking with rappers who are objectively successful, who are still living in their hood and
Yeah.
in some ways like putting down in their hood. Do you ever have conversations with them like, why don't you get the fuck out?
Yeah, I try. I mean, I definitely try to, but there's just a massive, massive disconnect in mentalities. You know,
How so?
like why don't you get out of the hood, man? Like it would be great to go to a different area. Why the fuck would I want to do that, man? It's my block. Like these are my people. And I'm like, yeah, but you could still help your people and move away from here. And
Right.
yeah, I've definitely never had. I've never got through to anyone, and I'm definitely not there to preach to them or anything. But yeah,
Right.
I definitely try to have the conversation. I actually did. I don't want to name drop, but I actually did have that really good conversation with a rapper from Virginia that I think he said it really resonated with him.
And he's thinking about leaving.
Well, I think he already did. He stays outside of there, but spends a lot of time there. And I think he was like, yeah, I think I'm going to stop spending time there.
That's cool. You get through to somebody
Because
you know.
a lot of these places, as much love as there is in the community, there's also like a crabs in a bucket mentality where people want to be
Crabs in a bucket.
Yeah, crabs in a bucket mentality. Like a crab goes to climb out of a bucket, and the other crab tries to climb as well. So they grab him and pull him down. They all stay on the bucket.
Right.
So there's a lot of hate from the home team in a lot of these places, more than I mean I even realize.
Yeah. And O Block, which is the video we were watching, that's like where King Von's from.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Von.
And he was killed, what, 2-3 years ago now? Something like that?
Yeah, he was killed.
Maybe longer than that.
By Lil Tim, which was a friend of Quando Rondo. So he saw Quando Rondo. He hopped out of the car, tried to beat him up, and then got shot and killed.
It's crazy because he's like a big rapper.
He's a millionaire at the time. It was pretty senseless, but I guess, in their own words, they had to stand on business. But
Like, I just don't.
I've been in hoods before where they've literally saw the ops and they've been like, yo, the ops are right there. And I'll be like, oh, in that case, like, we should go. And they'll be like, no, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to pop them. And then I'm like, all right, I'm like, no, I'm
Not
gonna,
with me.
I'm going to go home. And then they're like, you're scared. And I'm like, bro, if you think I'm scared or if you think I'm a pussy, that's fine. I'm going to be smart,
And live.
Yeah. Because I feel like having that mentality where you're down to crash out over anything, it's like desperate. It's like, for what? You guys have so much more to live for. You have so much opportunity that maybe you don't realize it, or maybe I just don't get it. But yeah, to be down to have a shootout at the drop of a hat just off principle or off your ego is insane to me. But it's a different lifestyle, and I know where I'm from, and I know that maybe I'll never get it, and that's fine with me.
Well, what do you think about, like, the age-old argument about gun violence here? Because it's like, it seems like when they restrict gun access, they just get more of them. Mm-hmm. And then when they don't, they just get more of them. Like, how do you even solve that if they all have it?
I'm really anti-gun. I think we should take guns off the street and make them illegal.
Yeah, I definitely, I don't think I've ever talked about my position on this. I tend to not talk about it.
Let's do it.
But yeah, I'm 100% pro-gun all the way. I mean, I don't understand the logic of, let's take guns away. It's going to stop all this violence in the hood. None of these guys have legal guns to begin with. That's all illegal guns. You think they're going to give you their guns back? That's insane. Take their guns. They're going to go get another gun. They're going to rub off the paint. They're going to get, like, oh man, it just doesn't make any sense. If you make guns illegal, they're going to take guns away from people who want to defend their property and their home and their family. And then the bad people that are willing to break the law are going to have guns.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think it's really more the law-abiding citizens who are going to take the bad end of that. I'm not totally familiar. I don't know if we can pull it up, Alessi, but the exact language of, like, the stipulations they put in Chicago, but they don't have a shortage of guns there, and that's been in place for a while now.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, the making drugs all illegal has worked out awesome. So yeah, let's make guns illegal too.
What do you think about that? There's people who argue that we should make all drugs legal and let people have their choice, which is like kind of the pure libertarian argument.
This is such a good question, because this is something that I wish I knew the right answer to. Like I was saying earlier, like, I wish when I do a video about homelessness or do a video about drug addiction that I had better answers. I really don't know, like, if drugs should be decriminalized or if they should be illegal or what the process is. I know obviously jail probably isn't the best step for rehab, but I mean, if you have someone selling drugs what's the solution? So I actually don't have a good answer about that.
Yeah, neither do I. And it's like, well, do you draw the line somewhere, right? Weed, fine. Alcohol, obviously, has been fine. You know, maybe you make coke, fine, but do you draw the line at heroin? And then does that, if you do draw the line, doesn't even matter?
Heroin's no different than lean. Heroin's no different than Percocets. No different than oxys.
Right.
It's the same thing.
But yeah, I'm putting that all in one category.
Yeah,
but
just opioids in general.
I know there was some data in Portugal where they did it, but you also got to remember when you're looking at other countries, it's very different. Number one, by size. Number two, by culture. Right? We are a melting pot here. Portugal's not necessarily a melting pot, right? It's all kind of the same culture, historic culture. So
is it homogenous there? Like
not 100%. People are going to yell at me for
but
that.
More so.
You know what? Much more so than here. So it's like, you know, can you really cross compare that? I don't know. And then also, like, if you do experiment with some of this, if it goes south, people are going to be losing on Tuesdays in Novembers, and that's never good for those people. You know what I mean? Like, that's what drives all their fucking decisions. I wish it didn't, but, you know, they don't want to take risks like that.
Yeah, like, I think about, like, when I have kids, you know, I thought about what if my kid becomes a drug addict? Because it's so big in my area. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like maybe it is good to have legal repercussions because it's just like an additional consequence that's preventing you from doing the drug. I mean, doing drugs is dangerous enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. What a freaking difficult question. Hopefully one day I'll be smart enough to have a good answer and I can push that. But
I think it's one of those age-old questions. It's tough when you're not in it too, in a way. I mean, you at least get to see it more than the average person, but you know, you don't want to be not. I have tremendous empathy for addiction, and as we laid out earlier with some examples, sometimes people get there because their doctors prescribe them stuff. So like, I don't think the solution, especially in those situations, is like jail or something like that. But also like where it's blurry, right? It's
so blurry because it definitely needs to be treated as like a mental health thing. But so what do you do, for instance, for someone who is constantly like buying heroin and doing heroin and has no intention of stop? They've been to rehab 20 times. I mean, do you just let that person stay on the street shooting up heroin and, you know, stealing stuff from stores? And like, what do you, it's just such a difficult thing. What do you do? Because all my videos about homelessness and drug addiction, what I've learned is there are people that are homeless and there are people that are addicted to drugs that do not want to stop.
Yeah.
They feel like, oh no, this is what I want to be doing. This is my freedom. And they might tell you like a little stop. Yeah, I wish I could quit. I wish I could quit. But if you say like, oh yeah, like I'll pay for you to go to rehab, or I'll, you know, right now we could go somewhere and we could get you help. They're like, oh no. And there's homeless people that I've tried to be like, oh, do you want me to put you up in a hotel for a few nights? Like we could try to like do like a month or 2 long thing where I try to like help you out. And it always like falls through.
Do you think that's, you know, the devil in them talking because of their mind being altered by the reality they're in? Or is it genuinely because they don't want to?
I feel like it's probably a mix of they just want to stay comfortable in their very free lifestyles they have, and also like fear of looking at this mountain of like, damn, I have to get sober off drugs. I have to find a way to make money to eventually, or yeah, like how do you? It's so many obstacles to jump through. A vehicle, a home. How are you gonna get a good job? And I feel like they're like, fuck it, let's just get high.
God, that's so sad. And we do have such a, I don't know the numbers, maybe we can find some, but especially since the pandemic, you know, we have such an uptick of that all over the place. I mean, have you been to like San Francisco where they talk about this all the time? That's one example they always use.
So I'm yet to do a video there, but I went there in like 2016 or something. But
a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's gotten crazy, right?
Yeah, it's gotten crazy now. Because I'd be curious to see, like, I've heard that one's pretty legit. Sometimes I think they overdo it, but you know, nonetheless, they're also not incentivized to fix it, right? I know Joe Rogan's talked about this a ton, but you'll look at some of these cities, and there will be like a job called like homeless people coordinator, and they're making like 200 some grand,
6 figures, yep.
So they're like, the goal of a job like that should be like solving the problem so that the job disappears, but you're creating an economic system where you know,
incentivized to keep it going.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then as far as like, you know, the housing market right now is insane. And there was a guy in Austin, Texas, for instance, that I interviewed in my. It's a little bit of a distasteful title. It's called MTV Homeless Cribs. I wish I didn't title it that. This is a little bit distasteful, but he works a full-time job, and it's so expensive. He went through a divorce, and it was so expensive for housing in Austin that he has a tent under a bridge, and he has an AC unit in there, and he's got a TV with like a Roku or whatever. And yeah, he works full time. Can you scroll towards more of the end of the video?
Roku on it.
Right here.
Yeah, I think it's that guy.
All right.
Welcome, Brandon.
How's it going, Brandon? Got a big flat screen. You know, it's pretty normal life anyway. I'm in the situation, my sister passed away. And at my job with COVID-19, so much of our hours were cut back. But we do everything like everybody else. You know, we work every single day, you know. But I'll give you an idea. That's clean. So we work all the time. But yeah, it's not easy. You know, you get hassled by people, hassled by police. But overall, it's not terrible. What bugs me the most is not having access to a shower every single day. I just go to the gym and go shower there. But yeah, it's nice. It doesn't suck. You know, it could be better, could be worse. Yeah, I've had this generator for many years, and I didn't always use it for this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't suck.
He's got a TV. You mind if he comes in here for a second?
Sure.
But yeah, having a TV, I've got Roku, so I've got a bunch of stuff to watch. I don't have the Peacock turned on, so that's probably going to die in a few seconds. But yeah, I got the TV on bulk pickup. I got 7 TVs in one night. See something we're good.
So yeah, I wanted to show you that to say, like, does that seem like some strung out drug addict that's just a loser? Like, with the current housing crisis, it is so hard to afford a home. I think the average income in America is what, $31,000 per person.
Sounds
and
right.
And the average home is over $400,000. So how are you going to afford a home? So there's definitely a huge percentage of the homeless population that is there because they have to be and they don't want to be at all. But then there are a huge percentage as well that are there by choice.
Yeah, that's where it gets difficult. I mean, this is pretty eye-opening, seeing this right here. Where was this again? Austin, Texas?
Austin, Texas. And then they come through, they just made it so you can't have tents on the sidewalks, and they come through and sweep these people out. And then, that's like another question. Do you think it's good? I don't want tents all over my sidewalk, but then where are these people going to go? And it's really difficult. I have an unreleased video from Maine. I wanted to do a homeless documentary in Maine because Maine is freezing, absolutely freezing. And I went there in December, and it was like 6 degrees out, ground was frozen. And we went to a homeless camp, and I talked to someone that was there helping, and they told me that the entire homeless shelter was empty, and they can't get people to come into the homeless shelter because they don't want to wake up at a certain time and go to bed at a certain time. They don't want to follow any rules. So instead of following any rules, these people in Maine, specifically Portland, Maine, are sleeping on the frozen ground on like crates and stuff to keep off the floor.
And if we keep, that's the thing though, like everything comes back to economics, which is exactly what you're laying out. And, you ever seen the memes of like the boomers dancing in the retirement home? And it says boomers when they spent 20 grand on a house and just sold it for 4 million, right? So we started this inflationary path, if you will, years and years and years ago, decades ago. And it just keeps moving like that, like a V. And so everything's math, like with it, mathematically speaking, you're going to have more and more people falling so far below the Mendoza scale that they're going to suddenly turn to things like this. Because if there's one thing the pandemic should have taught us as far as like about ourselves, like our flaws, we will adapt to shit quickly. Right? So people, you might say to someone right now, like, oh, could you imagine being homeless in 10 years? And they'll be like, oh my God, no. Maybe 10 years from now, they're in that situation. I mean, this guy seems, like you said, he's not strung out. He's fairly normal. He's living his life. And like, he almost seems slightly happy doing that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of that, On the west side of Oahu in Hawaii, there is
you did a video there.
homeless encampment or house. They like to be called houseless. They think it's more respectful because like this is my home.
What about the unhoused? Is that?
Yeah, I don't buy into all the semantics like that. It just seems like you're policing my speech too much. But it's called and I'm definitely
it's like the 5th or 6th one unless you just go down.
One down, one on the left.
Right there.
It's like Pu'uona.
From the lush mountaintops to the
Can I give you the rundown
beaches,
before?
Oh yeah. Pause it.
Yeah, so it's a homeless encampment on the west side of Oahu, and over 200 people live there, over half of which work full time just to provide resources for the community. And there's about 30 or 40 children that live there that go to school. They have a pantry where the people of the community provide food so people can go eat there. They have school supplies. They have clothes for people that need it, and anyone can go and live there in Hawaii. And it's ran by a matriarch named Twinkle Borge, who's been living there for over 25 years. And she could have left years ago, but she just wants to stay there and care for the people because the average house in Hawaii is 1.15 million.
Oh yeah.
So let's say you were born in Hawaii and you don't want to leave. What are you going to? You have to leave unless you're rich. You have to leave.
Now there are worse places to be homeless, though.
It's great, and the reason I brought these people up is because they're all so happy.
Yeah,
they were all so happy, and I had such a good time with them. And I was like, "Dang, this is like really makes you rethink your perspective on homelessness because you think bums, you think losers. These people work full time,
right,
just to provide for their community, just to live in a tent. Because, I mean, man, if you're making,
but it's a community.
It's a community, and they stick together, and they got funding, and they are building a tiny home village right next to where this community is.
All right, so I want to see this. This is different. I want to see this.
Everyone views Hawaii as a land of paradise. But for many residents of the island, things are getting dark. Hawaii has the 3rd highest rate of homelessness in America, and it appears things are only getting worse. For years, property costs have been skyrocketing in Hawaii. And on the island of Oahu, where our episode takes place today, the median cost of a single-family home rose from $789,000 to $1.15 million in the last 3 years. A quarter of all homes sold in 2021 were purchased by people who don't even live on the island, and they routinely bid well above the listing price without ever seeing the property in person.
Bunch of billionaires building bunkers.
Population declining every year for the past 5 years. But for those who don't want to leave their homeland, how do you survive? Well, for many, homelessness is the only option. This is the Waianae Boat Harbor in Hawaii. Over 200 people live in this makeshift village, including nearly 50 children. And over half of the people that live here work full-time just to provide resources for the rest of the residents. I visited this tropical encampment on the west side of Oahu to experience Hawaii's housing crisis firsthand.
I love your graphics, dude.
Shout out to Tristius and Alex Sosa.
All right, so I'm here with
Twinkle Borge, leader of Pu'uona Waianae.
Oh, this is her.
Encampment.
This is one of the largest houseless encampment that is located on the leeward side of Oahu.
Twinkle Borge came to the Waianae Boat Harbor in 2003 after having lost her home. And after years of living here, she began to be known as the leader of the area. She made it her mission to turn the village into a refuge where people could heal from financial disaster, addiction, depression, and any other health problem. She has built it up into what could possibly be the best example of a community-run houseless village. And like any good community, there are rules.
No stealing, respect your neighbors, no noise after 10, security comes on at 10. Each person do have their own fire extinguishers. We do have our own safety systems here.
The rules come with a 3-strike policy, and if anyone is found to have violated them 3 times, they are evicted from the community permanently. It's important to maintain a safe and peaceful environment, especially for the children that live there.
I remember when this place only had 7 people. Now I have 175. Yeah, with that 175, I also have kids from newborn to 17.
Have you guys?
Wish, what would it be?
Yeah, pause that, Leslie.
Have you guys ever heard of anything like that?
No.
It's fascinating, right? Like,
we're going to talk about this. This is really
this is one of my mom and dad's favorite episodes I've ever done.
Yeah, I have not seen this video, but when we're off camera, I'm definitely going to be watching this entire thing, but I want to see a little bit more.
Everybody to be on home, especially the kids. I will do anything and whatever I need to do to make sure these kids are well taken care of. Yeah.
The growing children of the village have unlimited access to the community pantry, as well as the donation tent. They have a storage area for books, a clothing area organized by size, and the pantry has its own food, dishes, hygiene items, and set of rules. No stealing, no selling of any donations. Residents are allowed to come in once a week. If anyone is caught selling any donations, they will be banned for good. Always appreciate everything you have. Pretty good rules right there. Are these donation bags that are being made?
Yeah, these are actually hygiene bags.
Hygiene bags.
Wait, you got toothbrush, toothpaste, toilet paper, mask, COVID test, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, pretty much everything you need.
What do you think the biggest misconception about homelessness in Hawaii is?
People don't understand us. They automatically judge you because of how you live. And that's wrong. There are some that, choose to be that way, but there are others that actually are working hard and try to make ends meet and still can't do it.
Next, we got an inside look into Twins.
All right, let's pause it. People, you're going to have to go watch the full video on the channel. What was your takeaway from this? After you left there, did you view this as a problem or an actual interesting solution? Or neither?
I think this is the most viable solution to homelessness that I've ever encountered. Not necessarily the tent situation that they have set up. That is like very good, but they have funding now to actually have a tiny home village. Can you scroll to the end of the video? I think there's like a graphic that shows. I promoted their GoFundMe. But yeah,
The link to their GoFundMe. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So they've acquired however many acres of land, and they are going to actually build like cheap, affordable homes for all these people to continue this community that they've built up now, just in better homes. And I don't know if that's possible all around America, because this seems like a bit of a rare thing. Like, I think Twinkle's an incredible person that set this up, but I mean, seems like one of the best solutions that I've came across. I know they've tried to set up tiny home communities in California, and like the governments came and like bulldozed them. I've heard of that happening.
The interesting part about this is that there's some sort of monoculture there, right? Because these are native Hawaiians, and I'm really there. I have a lot of thoughts on this. This is really fascinating. And also, when I see a video like this is how I don't understand how you don't have like 5-6 million subs already. This is incredible work. But these people are a community. Meaning, we throw that word around, but they look out for the well-being of each other. If they are all not well, nobody's well, in a way, and you get kicked out if you're someone holding that back. Meaning their standards, right? Part of the problem, and I'm not ripping homeless people around America doing this, but I'm saying like a general part of our society is we've created, in my opinion, a little bit of an island society where people are, of course, looking out for yourself, which is what human beings have done throughout history, but they're also then not looking out for anyone else. We have taken away standards in parts of society. Just do whatever the fuck you want. No one will hate on you because, don't make fun of them. That's mean.
Yeah.
Right? These guys, they're like, listen, we're setting up a community with a clear goal in mind too. If we run this community well and build our tribe well, hold that thought for a second, build our tribe well, we're going to improve our way of living to a point where technically we're also not homeless anymore and we have a real community. You ever read the book Tribe by Sebastian Junger?
I should. I haven't.
It's fucking good, and it's easy. It's like it's a quick read, but I don't know what if he thought this, but I could tell you my takeaway from it. He writes about human beings existing in tribes like throughout history and what it is. But I actually saw like a blend of the actual supposedly good parts of radical libertarianism and radical socialism, to where, the tribes that he wrote about throughout time would all want individual success in what they did for the collective goal of everyone else. The problem is, once a tribe gets above a certain size, mathematically speaking, it becomes impossible to not fall into one of those two lanes the wrong way. But I look at this, how many people did you say approximately live in that? 175?
Yeah, 175 to 220 ranges.
Okay, so I might start to get worried if it got up to like 1,000 or something like that. There is like a mathematical number that's been studied before. I forget what it is. Yeah. But like in this kind of size with that kind of, again, tribe, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. And I haven't seen anything like it, and I'm sure there are maybe other instances like it, but I would love to learn about it. And having affordable housing is so important. And obviously, I don't 100% know if what I'm about to say is dumb or not, but it seems like things like Section 8 housing are these housing things that you have to be make a certain amount of money to get into, they almost decentivize you to make more money because right. So if I don't have to pay $200 a month for rent because I live in Section 8 housing and I get food stamps, then if I do make more money and I get a raise in my job and I'm making $50,000 a year now I just lost my food stamps and I just lost my affordable housing. So I might even be making less money than I would be if I had stayed poor. So, and I don't have the answer or the solution, but it's just a really interesting thing that I think about sometimes. It's like, I feel like there should be affordable housing somewhere that you don't have to make a certain amount of money to afford. And that might be dumb. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
It's like the same thing with the welfare system. It's like the welfare system was like, oh yeah, if you're a single parent, and I know I get why they did it, but it's like, if you're a single parent, the ancillary effect is now incentivizing people to get divorced or to not be married or to have more kids so you get more money. And I'm sure that's not why they made it that way, but that is what's happening. And it's just really interesting to think about. God, I wish I was smarter.
Me too, man. I mean, but these are those situations where I also never have an answer for you because it's like, I don't want to be a society that says, yo, fuck everyone else. You know, if someone legitimately has a problem, too bad, that's their problem. But I also don't want to be one that sets up the opium drug of everything has a solution to it so that you just, you know, in that case, go to daddy government for absolutely everything in your life and then get stuck on that, right? Because then you keep getting that opportunity. It's very hard in large groups for a bunch of individuals to, on a larger scale than not, decide, I'm going to get off this. I'm going to stop this. And I don't mean to play to the worst angels of human nature, but statistically speaking, that is what it is. And like you see it up close where you see some of these communities where that's kind of what happened. And now it's a generational cycle.
Yeah, and I think one of the benefits of my content is, you know, I get to offer perspective, shine a light on things, and humanize people, right? People can insult me all they want saying, well, you don't have a solution, you're just monetizing off them, you're doing this, you're doing that. But everyone that's criticizing me, they don't have a solution either, and they're not doing anything either. So I feel like at least offering perspective is good. And I am hungry for answers, and I would love to have conversations with anyone that wants to have a conversation about it. But if you really think about what you value in life and what matters, like community has got to be like one of the most important things. If I gave you a $1 billion but isolated you in your life, would you be happy?
No.
If I gave you a great community and, you know, $100,000 or $50,000 a year, you'd probably be a lot more happy.
Yes.
To me, like, that's why I bought a home right by my mom, you know? That's why I want to stay around my family, people I trust, because community is everything. I could easily, with my channel, be like, oh, yeah, I'm moving to LA and I'm going to do everything I can. I'm David Dobrik. But, man, I would give up my YouTube channel tomorrow if it meant I could stay around my mom and my dad and my brother.
That's awesome, man.
So
it's an important thing in life.
And that's like, I think what's so great about the Waianae Boat Harbor is they do have a strong community. They do care for each other and have each other's back. And, you know, and that's also one of the best things that people that get out of addiction find is they find these communities, these sober living homes, these AA meetings. And we all need community, and no one can do it alone. But, yeah.
But when you're on the other extreme too, like you'll go to places like this, and that one's actually a good example, but you may go like to that guy in Austin, Texas who feels forced to live homeless, or you may go to Kensington.
Or Skid Row.
Put a pin in Skid Row. We'll come back to that for sure. But like you see the people living on the lowest of the low, and then you'll do content where, what was it called? Like fighting with rich people at Harvard or something like that.
Harassing rich people at Harvard.
Right. Yeah, can we pull that up, Alessi? Like you'll go to the privileged end of society and see all the maybe entitlement issues that they have, and it's almost like you're seeing on one side it's like survive and live to see tomorrow. On the other hand, it's like, you know, survive and hope you don't have to take enough antidepressants to make it fucking tolerable.
Yeah.
But they're both the same problem in a way.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah. I'm super. I know like some people saw the harassing rich people in Harvard, and they're like, oh, you're trying to like make a statement about privilege and stuff. And I just think if I want to troll people, like the funniest place to do it would be like Wall Street or Harvard. You know.
All right, let's pipe this real quick.
If I'm going to be annoying.
Harassing rich people at Harvard.
Check it out. I traveled all the way to Boston, Massachusetts. We're at Harvard University, one of the most expensive colleges on earth. A 4-year degree here costs $330,000. If you're at Wall Street or you're at Harvard, you probably deserve to be hassled just a little bit. I, for one, believe college is a great thing to do. It was a good $100,000 well spent. It's like investing in a stock that's guaranteed to fall. Diamond hands. Hey, Big Purple, how you doing? Visiting or what?
Yeah, we had like a museum donor event.
You call him Big Purple?
Yeah. $1,000.
Can you give our viewers a lesson?
The Hamburglar.
About drip
and swag. He laughs like a rich guy does. He's rich too. He's got a velvet sweater on.
This was discounted from Banana Republic for sure.
The Semitic Museum. That's so classic. I know Semitic, doesn't only mean Jewish people, but I think they mean it. You know what they mean. You go to Harvard?
I teach at Harvard. I share in conducting the Harvard Glee Club. It's lovely. It's like a tenor bass choir.
Can you give us some glee right now? We got some real depressed people at home that wish they could get into Harvard. Or no free lessons for the brokies.
No, I mean Glee is just like remember who you are. Like
I wake up and want to die most mornings.
Yeah, I mean, often people do. I think like just recognize that like you are breathing, you are alive. Like you have this
You ever want to kill yourself?
What is this being filmed for?
What are you running from? Everyone's so friendly here. Can I have $100?
I don't know what this...
2 earrings are better than one or no? What's the best way to get high?
Smoking is still the best method of consumption.
Have you ever got Rick Simpson's oil and shot it up in your arm?
No, because that's not how it works.
Intravenous weed?
Do not ever shoot up Rick Simpson oil. Maybe.
Yes. Right up the ass. Shoot it out, yeah. Take it in the butt, right?
Oh, yeah, man.
Take it right in the fucking ass. Take it. Okay.
I mean, technically, you can actually take Rick Simpson oil that way.
Enema. Building up the confidence to take the weed in the bum. Yikes. Howdy, tough guys. You know where to buy Perk 30s around here?
Sorry? I don't know what that
I'm
is.
trying to score. Are you down with the sickness?
Sickness?
You gonna get down with the sickness? I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm a lonely guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Want to hang out the rest of the day? Me and you? Just a party? Drink a couple?
You know what? I'm not the type of person of drinking. I have a very, very low threshold.
I like drink some soda. Some pop.
No, we have other places. I'm sorry.
Is it because I look broke?
No, you don't look like a broken at Come on. You seems like you live a very superior life.
Superior?
Yeah, noble life.
Finally someone gets me. Thank you guys.
All right,
you
pause
look like
it,
you live a
pause it there.
superior life.
Dude, you're
Fuck
fucking,
yeah, dude.
you're on the spot, like, just quite, like, where did you get that from?
I have no idea. If I have to write down stuff and think about stuff, I'm terrible. Like, that's why I can't do sketch stuff. But yeah, if I just have the freedom to say what comes to my dumb brain, it typically turns out pretty good. I think it's so funny to say, do you want to, like, meeting a stranger, like, do you want to hang out the rest of the day? Just me and you. Like,
you live superior life.
Yeah, superior. But yeah, I don't know. I like doing improv, bro. I've like hung out with YouTubers and they've tried to get me to do sketch stuff. Like, I don't know if you know, like Churdley's, Blake Roger, Sir Spence, those guys. I love them. They're awesome.
Sir Spence?
They're really funny sketch comedy people, but man, I'm bad. Like, if you give me lines, I get so uncomfortable and nervous.
It's a whole different ballgame.
It's terrible. Like, I never wanted to be on camera, and I always have been so camera shy and so nervous about performing, if you will.
Yeah.
So when I get to do improv, it's like I don't even think about it. I'm just talking and chilling like we're doing now.
So it's a little bit of a medicine that way. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be in it versus like trying to recall.
Yeah. So this is actually an interesting thing. When I was a junior in high school, there's something called the Carroll County Career and Tech Center that is like an alternative school you can go to, like, pursue whatever, carpentry, filming, animation, cosmetology. And I went there for video production. And because I was like, oh, I love filming and I want to learn how to edit. And the first project was you had to do a music video for your favorite song, but you had to be in it. And they would not let me not be in it. And that was a deal breaker. I dropped out. I was so
you were really not about
so uncomfortable being on camera that I dropped out of the Carroll County Career and Tech Center because they had made me be on camera. And then I switched over to print production and drew comics.
And then eventually you leave your job to go on camera.
Yeah, crazy.
It's crazy how life works, man.
It definitely is.
I'm not the best guy to talk to about like stand-up comedy per se, because I other than some clips on social media, I've never watched a ton of it, so I can't tell you, you know, like obviously I know like Dave Chappelle's like incredible. I'll watch his stuff and some of the greats. But like as far as across like comedy, I can't tell you which ones are the best right now and things like that. But I have heard from people who are big fans of stand-up and talk about it, that some of these guys, without naming names, who have amazing comedy podcasts, right, where it's just funny and raunchy the whole time. They're actually like kind of more middling comics when they're on stage. Like they're funny, but they're not amazing. And I think that's just because like it is one or the other. There's people who can just kind of flow and do things off the cuff. And then there's people who can, maybe they can do that, but they can really plot out everything perfectly and write things and land them, you know, and that's kind of fascinating to me if that's the case. So you're obviously someone who flows a lot better.
My whole life, like one of my biggest fears was getting up in school to do a school project, like terrifying. Like my face would get so red, I would shake. And,
how'd you deal with it?
I ended up just preparing less and like winging it more. And then it like forced me to be more free. But like if I had it really planned out, it would always be a disaster. But the thing that you just said about comics, this is again in no way to be rude. I'm a massive fan. Theo Von, his stand up to me is, you know, it's pretty good, but I don't love it. His podcast is like the freaking funniest thing I've ever seen. Like it's like absolutely hilarious. And there's several people like that. You know, Chris D'Elia, prior to him going through whatever he went through, I didn't really like his stand up, but I thought his podcast was hilarious.
Theo has like that sit there face where he just lets it percolate for a minute and then just starts firing, and you know it's just like he's working with the room around him, and there's just something that's so natural. I mean, I think his, as far as like a comedy podcast goes, I don't know that it gets better than that.
It's probably my favorite.
It's so good. Tim Dillon's another dude. Like you put him in a room and just get him talking with those sunglasses on, he's a machine.
I think that guy lives near me. Doesn't he live in like West Virginia or Maryland?
Tim?
Yeah, Tim Pool.
Oh, Tim Pool. No, I'm talking about Tim Dillon.
Oh shit.
I think Tim Pool does live in like the boonies, like out somewhere out there.
If my brain just glitched, I apologize.
Yeah. No, Tim Dillon's the Long Island fat gay guy.
Yeah.
No, he's like funny. When he gets going, it's incredible, and he's just working with the room around him. I love that.
How about Shane Gillis?
Shane's really funny,
bro.
man.
That guy. And honestly, to me his stand up is really, really funny too.
Yeah, I've heard his stand up's great.
Yeah, like man, I think he's one of the best out right now.
Yeah, honestly, there's a guy who dodged a real bullet not getting on, you know, when he got like taken off SNL right away, because like you look at when you hear him talk and you see how his comedy is, it's so built for the new era because he talks about whatever the fuck he wants to. Like you're so bunched in on SNL on you know, cable TV.
Didn't they cancel him for making like an Asian joke? Wasn't it?
Yeah, they rolled tape like. It was on a podcast, I think it was from the earliest podcast he was doing with McCusker, I want to say, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But it was a few things in there. They were just riffing, being ridiculous, being comedians, but it's not cable TV comedy. So, you know, it can be twisted and turned, and that's what they did. And now, you know, obviously they know they made a mistake. They just had him host it a couple months ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a great case right there of like, if you want to make something happen, you know, make it happen.
That's right.
No matter what.
That's right. And it's cool to see, like, if you're someone who's gotten such a big platform like Joe Rogan, you know, it's nice when he can use that to help put forth like talent like that and give that a bigger light, because I think that was a huge help. Like obviously Shane is funny and has earned his way, but I think it was also a huge help to be able to have Joe be like, yo, this motherfucker's funny, they should have never fired him. Listen to him.
You know what's interesting about Shane Gillis? One of his favorite comedians ever, Sam Hyde.
Really?
Yeah. Shane actually followed me on Twitter when I first hung out with Sam. Hit me up, Shane.
Yeah, I gotta see you.
Could you imagine though? Like I would love to just hang with him and just shoot the shit for a freaking hour. That would be such a good video.
Oh yeah.
And you know,
be similar to what you did with, but in a different way with that Mexican OT.
What a guy, bro! Did you talk with Tommy about him at all?
I have, yeah. It's funny how life works. I had seen him pop up on Flagrant and listen to some of that, and then he popped up on Rogan. I listened to some of that. I like this guy so much. I started banging his music. I'm like, this shit's fire. And then Tommy walks in here. He's like, yo, you know Mexican Ote? I'm really good friends with him. What you want to talk with him? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to talk with that guy.
Bro, he's such a good dude. He will like hit me up to check on me. His dad will hit me up to check on me. You know, like they're cool. So genuine for how like big he is. He's a huge deal. He is so genuine. I don't matter in the scheme of things. Like, you know, he's way bigger than me. He doesn't need to be as nice as he is. He is so kind, so authentic and genuine. And you feel it right when you meet him. He's not putting on anything.
Right.
Like, you know, there's some people that as soon as you meet him, you're like, this guy is like off, or he's weird, or he seems like he's putting on. Like, the Mexican OT is one of the most authentic people I've ever met, and such a good rapper.
Oh my god, dude, he's incredible. Like he's and you like it's one of those guys. He comes on, you know it's him.
Yeah,
you're like, whoa,
and,
all right, vibe changed.
Bro, to speak to what kind of person he is like his like one of his best friends when he got into rap. Not when he got into it, but when he really started making waves was this guy named Dorey. Big shout out to Dorey, amazing guy as well. He's on the Johnny Dang song with him and Paul Wall, and the label tried to force that Mexican OT to take Dorey off of Johnny Dang.
Yes, they do, and
he said no. He refused, and then the rest is history. What it's a gold or platinum record, and I just love people who stay loyal to their people.
Yes, I love that too.
You know,
I love that. Side note, real quick, because it just makes me think about it a little bit. But I get nervous about that too in the record game because it's such a dirty business with these things. So some of my guys were really tight with Fetty Wap and Remy Boy Monty and them. If you remember when Fetty Wap came up in 2015, that was one of the greatest come-ups in the history of music.
He was huge, hit after hit.
Dude, he had 4 songs in the top 10 at one time. I think 3 of them were in the top 5.
Yeah, who does that?
Right? It was insane. And he had he was unique as well. Like, it was different. You're like, whoa, like, hey, baby! Like, no one had done shit like that. And in his initial album, also called Fetty Wap, he made that distinction as well. He only let Remy Boy Monty and another guy, M80, his boy, on that. And he got blackballed for that. So I love that. I love that loyalty, but that whole story, like I was around that a little bit with not with Fetty, but with like Remy Boy Monty and stuff. Like what happened to them is a disgrace. But I worry about that with guys who maybe like that Mexican OT, who's like he exudes realness, right? Mm-hmm. You can smell that shit, and like. I hope he continues to do those things, and also in this new era of being able to use YouTube and things like that, charts his own brand. So you know the gatekeepers, if you will, don't fuck him over.
Yeah, no. If the people in the record label get to OT, that's going to be insane. But he has such a good team around him, you know, and just like the Houston culture with like the Prince family and all these people. And I know Johnny Shipes is on OT side, and you know DJ Scales, his DJ. I mean, I just see them just steamrolling ahead. Really.
How'd you get connected with him?
So there's a guy by the name of Mike Mills that runs the Houston Closet, the store above Johnny Dang's store. And I think I was just in there shopping and that Mexican OT came in. And then I started talking to him and we hit it off.
And then he's like, all right, let's make a video?
Yeah, but it's definitely thanks. I believe that's how it happened. But I wanted to make a video and it kind of just happened because my freaking camera guy and editor, Mustafa, went to the gym in Austin with that Mexican OT's dad. So it was just a weird thing, but it ended up happening definitely thanks to Mike Mills of The Closet.
Gotcha. So that was, I think that was like on camera when you did that. Go to videos. Yeah.
You got the Leo DiTavio on screen. Watch Mad Men, dude.
All right, hit that video. This is the one with Mexican.
Hey, gang. This episode is sponsored by Delta Munchies, the best Delta 8 company around. Have you seen this blinged
This
out
is what I was
Mexican
talking
man
about.
holding a chicken wrapped
You
in
on
like
the
a
ladder
gangster
and
cowboy?
shit.
His name is that Mexican OT. And the moment I heard his hit single Johnny Dang, I was hooked.
Louis Vuitton umbrella when I walk through the rain in the kitchen whipping chicken kind of bread like.
By a stroke of luck, I met the rapper in Houston, Texas, and ended up spending 4 days with him filming this episode. Joining him on stage at his album release party, pouring up drank in the studio, traveling to his hometown of Bay City, and even meeting his dad and grandfather.
They age restricted this video.
They did?
For the
You guys
part.
can take a look at the fit right now. I got the Coogee on. This is the most expensive outfit I've ever bought, courtesy of Auditory right here. He peer pressured me into getting this. It's literally $500, bro.
The part, yeah.
So if you guys want to get some fresh drip like I have on right now, go ahead, shop at buckinghamshop.com and get a headband. I thought you were about to shop the place out. Like Mills.
So good to see you, my brother. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Yeah,
and what a perfect time, because right now I want to introduce you to that Mexican OT upstairs right now.
Oh, he's here right now?
So
right now. You want to go
just found
upstairs?
out
Yeah,
this
let's
is
get
gonna
it. Let's
happen.
go.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Man, I can't complain, chilling, breathing, you know.
Shopping here at the closet right now?
Hell yeah, came to fuck with my doggy real quick. If you ain't here, you ain't dripping right.
I mean, I don't have any bling or anything. I just got headbands, but...
Yeah, no, I don't really wear too much bling either. I don't think you need to either, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the simplicity of some stilos is what sell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be having my cowboy hat, my boots, and my grill is my iconic look. I don't need no chains, no fucking braces and shit. My music speak for itself.
So are you about to buy any drip while you're here today?
Man, I was thinking about it, dog. I was looking at the SBs. Come here.
Because the closet has all kinds of gear. You guys gotta get hip if you're not hip.
This one right here is definitely gonna be one of the ones where, like, if it brought me back into the sneakerhead era, it's gotta be this one. You remember the Costins?
Of course.
All right, so yeah, I was skating in them and the Janowskis when I was skating.
You're a skater.
Fuck yeah, I was shredding the fuck out them hoes.
We gotta have you doing shots. I can't even rollerblade.
I feel like people that rollerblade some bad
I
motherfuckers.
can ripstick.
Can you?
The ripstick shit?
You're an animal.
I'm nice on the ripstick, bro.
That's what's up. You know the eyeball is the only thing on the human body that doesn't grow?
I guess, yeah, old people have big as shit ears and nose, but their eyes are the same. Shout out Alzheimer's.
Yeah. So I think it's cool when old people are like making cereal and they're shaking when they pull their milk.
Hey, shout out my grandma, man. She'd be on varsity if there was a Parkinson's team.
That's crazy.
That's unfortunately true.
First time on camera right here. That's a cool moment. It is. Listen to good, loyal thoughts.
You're big in the underground?
Yeah.
Sounds like you're huge in the underground.
Is it even underground anymore?
It's breaking through. Oh yeah, I'm gonna see you Friday, right?
Yeah, fact.
I got a Lone Star Luchador dropping. It's the project. I'm excited, dog. I got a lot of range in that.
Friday's my birthday, so I'm gonna be getting drunk.
I don't really drink. I'll be on drugs.
What kind of drugs you on?
All of them. I'll just get a bowl and fucking throw them all in there. Have like a pot of gumbo. Like cereal.
Lucky Charms.
That's crazy. Lucky Charms, drink, and then the Lucky Charms, the pills, and be like that.
Wow,
That's a cover right there. I want to see that art made. If you're an artist,
How likable is that guy?
He's so likable.
Yeah.
Like and his story. Oh my God, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was talking with Tommy, what we want to do is have him and his dad in for the podcast.
You have to.
That's 100%. I couldn't figure out why that hadn't happened yet.
Yeah, no. I mean, next time they're in New York for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want, bro, if there's anyone that you've ever seen me do a video with that you want me to try to put you in contact with, like I don't keep anything.
Oh, so. Dude, thank you, and right back at you. Anyone who's been on this show, I know Tommy and me. I was telling you before, we were already talking about a bunch of people that he's trying to talk to who have been here. Like, I think that's an awesome thing to be able to do that, and it's nice that you guys are like that too.
Yeah.
You know, before I did this career, I was really fortunate, partially through my last career, to have like a pretty amazing Rolodex of people, but I wasn't covered in like content creation, ironically. So it's been nice slowly getting to meet some people along the way, and so far I've had really good experiences with that.
Yeah, people who gatekeep things like that, it's just so confusing to me. I mean, even down to like my own employees, like the last two people that have been filming and editing for me, I've gotten them a job with Turkey Tom, who's a big YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers, who's able to pay him far more than I am. And then my last guy, Mustafa, I just got him a job with Julian. So it's
let's go.
I feel like no matter what it is, even if it like won't necessarily benefit me in any way or could be conceived as like taking away from my business, I just feel like providing people opportunities and doing stuff like that is so important. Because when the YouTube stuff ends and everything comes back to normal, you're going to be remembered for how you treat people.
That's right.
So yeah, I don't get the gatekeeping thing. It's very odd.
That's a good way to be, man. And it does seem like there are people in this business who are, I mean, just call it what it is, heavily narcissistic, and they think their shit doesn't stink. And luckily, I haven't really run into them, but I've heard about other people who have, and that's a shame, because like you said, the music will end at some point, and you better hope you have a chair. And you're gonna need some friends with that chair.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons that me and Tommy G are like best friends. Yeah. And not only just the wrestling and our values and everything, but like, bro, we've helped each other so much. We just see eye to eye on that kind of thing. Like, Tommy G is how I got on this podcast.
Right. Yeah, it's literally happened. Like the other day, he's like, "Yo, you want to talk with Brandon?" I was like, 100%, bro.
And that's literally everywhere we go, bro. Because there's some like fools that'll be like, "Oh, Brandon's copying Tommy, Tommy's copying Brandon." Anytime we ever do a video, the door is open for the other one to do the video. Yeah. Because we're just like we're friends. We want each other to win.
How did you guys initially meet again? I think you might have said that at the beginning of the podcast.
We initially met through Instagram.
You did not say that. Okay.
Yeah, we initially met through Instagram. I don't know if he reached out to me or I reached out to him, but we hopped on a call, talked, hit it off immediately, and then I went out to Milwaukee and we did the sus rapping videos. I think the first one we did, and then for his channel we did the Knockout Challenge.
The Knockout
Did he ever talk to you about that?
No, we didn't. Can we pull that up, Alessi? I did not see that the other night.
So
Alessi had found him maybe, what is this, like a month and a half ago, something like that? Yeah. And I hadn't heard of him. I started looking at the videos. I'm like, can we get this guy in here? He's like, fuck yeah. Like, he's so good. But I've been, like, binging a bunch of his videos.
Do part 2. But he does not disappoint, right, when you meet him?
No. He's the man. He's one of the nicest people I ever met in my life.
So the context of this video.
All right, pause it real quick.
Freaking, I get to Milwaukee and I'm like asking Tommy, like, what videos we're gonna do. I'm sure we had like a general idea, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I want to do part 2 of the Knockout Challenge." And I'm like, "What is the Knockout Challenge?" And he's like, "We're gonna go give people boxing gloves, and we're gonna pay them $200 if they can knock us out. But if we take them down, then they don't get any money." And I was like, "No." I was like, "No, I don't want to do that." And Tommy's like, "Bro, you wrestled your whole life, you'll be fine." And I'm like, "Bro, I've never boxed." Like, Tommy has had an MMA fight before this. Like, he has more striking experience.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, Tommy's has had an MMA fight. So he was training at I think a Rufus Sport.
I gotta try to catch him slipping next time.
So yeah, he was all gung ho for it. He actually had to talk me into it. So yeah, and the video did good.
All right, let's see it.
Big dogs gotta eat.
Big dogs gotta eat. Big dogs gotta eat. Welcome to the function, all eyes on me. Pull away my shorty,
at least the shirt.
girl, it's nice to meet you, but get off of me.
Big Dog's got it. Does he have that copyrighted?
I don't know. He should. I think you have to skip forward in the video to get to the actual.
All right. Yeah, right here.
That should be a good one.
Oh, they're really going. Oh, he's got nothing to. Oh, he's trying to take him down.
Which one?
Pop the head out, double, bang.
Oh, right into side control. Oh, he wants you to finish him. He wants a submission, Tommy. You either tap or you give up, bottom man.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah,
he's
really good.
Yeah. that looked
good
painless.
Shit, though.
Good shit. You have courage because most people don't take the challenge. What we're trying to prove is you can use wrestling and jiu-jitsu to take people down without hurting them and effectively diffuse a situation.
Shout out Milwaukee. Tommy G. Nice to meet you, Tommy G. Fiji 2K.
1, 2, 3.
Big dog gotta eat. Yes, sir. You guys are
All right, if you skip
Are you
forward,
gonna do one?
yeah, there's one. I did too. I got a little unlucky on the second one because the guy was incredibly strong. But yeah, go to the. It should be the peak. It should be the peak thing. Go over more.
Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Scroll back a little bit. A little more. I want you to see how disastrous this was. Like in my mind, I was panicking.
The jab's out there. Throwing the jab.
Oh, you're in full wrestling gear. Ooh.
Tie up, tie up, tie up.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's got
look
good.
at that.
You're good, you're good.
He's got a good low center of gravity.
Tie up, tie up, tie up.
I'm so punch shy.
Toss him. Tie up, tie up.
Tommy's like,
Good.
don't die. There you go.
Good, just get control, get control.
Are you gonna do your
He's gonna
signature
spray
move?
him.
Ooh. Ooh, that was the move? Is that what it's called? What was it called?
Called the
Spreadle?
Oh, you got me. You rocked me. Good shit. That was fun.
Good shit, bro. Good shit.
That was.
That hurt. That hurt.
Takes balls to do stuff like that, man.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, Christ.
That was tough. You see how scared I was of the punches?
Yeah.
It's not obviously.
Because you're not punching. You're trying to take them down. But
yeah,
fuck.
I was very, very uncomfortable. But yeah, I'm thankful that Tommy got me to do that, and I look forward to never doing that again.
All right, hold on. Let's pause for 1 second. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm like, I don't own a couch.
yeah. That's what I always tell people. Like, I live in my mom's house.
Right? Yeah. I was in my parents' house till August 1st last year. I launched this for 3.5 years in their house with nothing. Wow. So it's like, but along that way, I think between our channels on the different things and like people reposting stuff on YouTube, it was like we've been viewed like 2 billion times or something. So people are like, "Oh, you must like be swimming in it." I'm like, "Send me money,
Yeah,
please give it to me."
Definitely.
But anyway, we're back on now. Someone had said to me, my buddy Chris Giuseppini is a huge fan of yours. He was actually going to be here today, but he's like an unbelievable. I call him like the YouTube god. He's been producing other people's like big creators channels for like since he was 16 years old, so the last 12, 13 years. And he was a big fan not only of your edits, but also like the way you go about making the content, similar to what we were talking about today. But he had told me last night when I was on the phone with you or with him that you were in DC on January 6th and documented some of this. I hadn't seen any of this stuff. Is this still available on YouTube?
Yeah, it's still available.
Can we pull that up?
It definitely might limit the views of this video, though. I swear they shadow ban January stuff.
All right.
I feel like even saying January in the video, they're like, we'll get it.
Well,
Not
I
hit the
mean,
algorithm.
we've done that, but we won't play the video, but just pull up where it is.
If you're not worried about it, though, let's run it.
Yeah, how did you, because I guess he announced that a couple days before that he was going to do like the speech and whatever.
Isn't that funny?
Did you just like make plans like, oh, some shit's going to go, did you have any idea that something was going to go down?
I thought I was going to make a video interviewing Antifa and interviewing Trump supporters, asking them similar questions, and then kind of, showing the dichotomy of the two. I thought I was going to do something like that. And then I get to DC at like 8 or 9 a.m.
On the 6th.
Yeah, on January 6th. I was there all day. And then the video did not go as planned.
So where we're not going to pull it up, but like where were you? Like did how close to the Capitol did you get?
Right up on the steps, right there. I could have gone inside for sure if I wanted to.
Now how would that have worked? You're a documentarian. If you're doing
They would have
that.
arrested me. They would have arrested me. I'd probably be in jail right now. 100%.
Have you been questioned?
Yeah, the FBI contacted me, Officer John Kranek, thinking I was going to give up information or like I had information, which I didn't. But yeah, they contacted me and I believe they told me they were going to subpoena my footage if I didn't meet with them. So I just met with them and I actually turned it into a video called I Became a Private Investigator. So I met with this guy and then I kind of was just like trolling him and saying I wanted to join the FBI, and then I spun that into a video where I was just going around my hometown being like, like, where's Nathan? Or like just silly stuff. But yeah, I don't know what I can say. I definitely would not be the kind of person that would want to cooperate with the FBI, but also in the situation of January, I had no information whatsoever. So I figured
How fast did that happen? Like how fast did it get from he's talking on stage to people are like, let's go to the Capitol?
Quickly. He finished his speech, and then by the time I got to the Capitol, it was going.
What was that like?
I didn't know it was such a big deal. That might sound stupid, but I was there all day. At no point was I afraid or felt in danger or felt like it was... The crazy stuff that I saw was like, I interviewed a guy who got shot in his face with a rubber bullet, and he had a big hole in his cheek. Or
He had a hole in his cheek?
Yeah, it's on YouTube still. This video's been taken down and reinstated twice.
Yeah.
They literally gave me a strike on my extended cut channel for posting the extended cut of this.
Whoa.
But I think I have some of the best footage on the internet of January 6th. I was there all day coincidentally. I filmed all day and I captured that it was a more diverse crowd than the news would show you, that people were not as psychotic as you would think, or at least from my perspective. And like I said, after spending the whole day at January 6th, it wasn't until I got home and saw the news that I realized, like, whoa, this was a big deal.
Whoa, so even when it's going on, you didn't realize it was like actually something.
There were bleachers set up outside of the Capitol building, and they said that was for a speech that was going to happen the next week. Apparently that's normal. But to me, I'm like, oh, this seems like a set up thing. Like Trump just gave a speech and now we're here. And I watched people just walk in to the Capitol building. So
yeah, there's some of the footage of like, because the cops were understaffed, like they're literally opening up gates and letting people in. That's what's so confusing about it. I mean, I never had any sympathy for Trump about it because to me it was like, you were stupid enough to schedule this, which was pointless. You knew that the only thing that could happen is something could go wrong, and it did. But like, it got excessive with how much, they tried to make it like the people were totally storming everything. Like there were some people who were, but then there's also people who literally, like, what was his name? The fucking shaman. Like, he's like being escorted around by the cop, like, because the cop's like, well, I'm not gonna fight him.
Yeah,
you know, which isn't good, but like, it's not. You know, they're not burning the fucking what was that building in Germany, the Reichstag or what? It's not like that.
Yeah, I mean, they were walking like in the like little lines, like they had the red whatever the fuck they're called. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was all very odd. Yeah, the shaman guy like walked behind me in one of the shots. I didn't realize it was gonna be as crazy as it was. But yeah, this video was actually a really big deal for my career. You know, like I think when I posted this video, I want to say I had like 10,000 subscribers or something,
and that exploded it.
Yeah, it's definitely shadow banned on YouTube, but it went viral on Facebook. People sharing the link, so that's like the views on it are like all like external, like you can see in the analytics, like external. YouTube's definitely hiding this, but yet all these news organizations that weren't even there or that filmed from way back and didn't even talk to anybody, they have millions and millions and millions of views. I was always like, bro, if this shit wasn't rigged, that video would have 10 million views because it was the biggest news story. They still talk about it to this day. Oh, it's our generation's 9/11. Really? I've been to freaking I went to a Nelk meetup that was scarier than this. Like I've been to concerts that were scarier than this.
You went to a Nelk meetup that was scarier than that?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You know the YouTube group Nelk?
Yeah, Nelk Boys.
Yeah, they're freaking launching glass bottles, blasted my friend in the face with a full can of fucking beer. Like,
where was
getting
this?
into fights in Dallas?
When?
A few months after January. So yeah,
it's like a fan meetup.
Yeah, it was a fan meetup that went just insane, and it was way scarier than January 6th. And I'm not trying to pander to anyone. I'm just being honest. Like, I can't believe the way they talk about this nowadays.
Yeah, the 9/11 thing was always ridiculous. That was fucking crazy.
I'm not the bravest, most like hard body dude. I get scared. I get rattled in big crowds and stuff. I mean, I was relatively like calm. Like I only started getting like nervous when they started like gassing us and stuff. And also, this is really interesting. So, as soon as they made an attempt to clear the area with the gas, it was like 10 minutes and everyone was gone. So I always wondered, like, why didn't they do that from the beginning? Why didn't they just gas everybody out in the beginning?
Yeah, the cops were really left in a bad position because there weren't enough of them. You know, they should have done something like that from the beginning. Like I said, what were they going to do? Shoot back at them? There's fucking thousands of people. You know, they're going to get overrun. We saw that. They're going to get overrun.
Yeah. But yeah, they've given me strikes on YouTube for this video. They've deleted my entire TikTok account for this video. And I was just trying to document.
Are you back on TikTok now?
Allegedly. Yeah.
Oh, right.
I don't run my TikTok, but yeah, I actually, it's kind of crazy. I have 2 people that have been able to make like $1,000 to $2,000 a month just from clipping my content.
Oh shit! From letting fans do it.
Yeah, so I just say clip it, and whatever money you make, you can keep. So
yeah, we might want to look at that.
Yeah, but it's really annoying because like TikTok is now like the guy that built my TikTok up, they kept hitting him for unoriginal content. And I'm like, bro, this is like, I gave you permission. I don't understand. So I actually had to go and like verify my identity for him to give him permission. And they still are hitting me with unoriginal content. It's so weird.
Oh, so they know it's you.
And YouTube's the same thing. My main YouTube clipper, they just demonetized their entire channel saying that, oh, this is reposted content. And I had to like link it to my AdSense and verify my identity. And it's like, it's just weird.
Yeah, he had, before he was working with me, Alessi here, he had started like a little fan page on YouTube and actually like built it. It was really impressive. And so when he came here, we were bringing it under the umbrella, and dude, that was brutal. Like figuring all that out, like convincing them. Even today, like I don't touch it because it's listed under all the channels. I'm on it. We get paid on the AdSense for it, but like, I'm on it, but I'm not on it, and I'm just like, all right. Did we get paid this month? All right, good.
They make it too weird, but yeah, it hard. I mean, can I ask you, like, what are your thoughts on January 6th? Like,
I have a nuanced opinion on it. I think it was a terrible idea by Trump to do it. I think that, you know, in all honesty, and you'd be able to say this better than I can, it wasn't our best and brightest going there that day.
I agree.
To say that they represent 77 million people who voted for the guy, though, is just intellectually dishonest at best and criminal at worst to say. And it's inexcusable to go in there. But again, do I think it was like burning the Reichstag? Absolutely not. And from everything I've heard from it and from some of the video you see, like it was designed to fail. It was designed for people to, suddenly be able to walk into the Capitol, which is really an indictment on our political system, if anything. So I feel like the day was just a sad day all around for people, but I'm not sitting like when they would say on like the anniversary, like our modern 9/11, it made me want to stab out my eyeballs with an ice pick. Like 9/11 was a mile away from here, and I was very little when that happened. It's one of my first things I can really remember, but like, we knew people who died in those towers. All right. That's some different shit. You want to sit here and talk about 3,000 people versus like 3 or 4 people, whatever it was, who died. I can't help you. And like, I think, what was it? A couple cops died afterwards, which was really sad. And then one woman, they were like, that was the thing though. They were complaining, like the people who were there were complaining that like someone who had stormed the Capitol had died. I forget her name, but like, she was actually like trying to get through the windows and shit, and a cop shot her. And like, I got to be honest with you, I have zero sympathy for that, and I'm sorry she died, and I don't want to see that. But I'll never forget. I got a text that day while it was happening from a friend of mine he's been in the military for 20 some years, and is like a really conservative guy too. And he was like, "Look, man, the world I grew up in, it was simple. You break into the Capitol, you get shot. That's what it is." Now, as you've laid out, it wasn't quite that simple. There weren't people like breaking in many different spots there. And that's where I think the media has been, dishonest in some ways for sure. And the fact that like we have independent journalists who were there to capture that and that's not being covered annoys me.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And I think it's really telling that, I ended up there coincidentally, and I could have been in the Capitol building just by chance. I wasn't trying to do an insurrection. I could have walked in, and I will be in jail right now.
Do you think you'd be in jail, or would you be able to say you're a journalist because you had camera equipment and you were capturing what was happening?
I think I would be in jail.
I think you might be too.
If I stepped foot in there, I think I would be in jail, regardless of my perspective. Because at the end of the day, I don't think the police would consider me a journalist because I'm not Fox News or CNN or any of these things.
How do we define a journalist now?
I guess large corporate backing by the powers that be.
That's ridiculous. That's a huge problem. Because like anyone can, if you follow the journalistic standards, don't reveal sources if it's off the record or yada, 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 and you're covering stories and reporting on them, people now have the power in the modern internet age to be a journalist. So are there like laws written? I mean, there are laws written up protecting journalists, but are there laws written up to say who can be a journalist and who can't?
Speaking for YouTube, like there's things that I could show on YouTube if they classified me as a journalist, but I don't. Me and Tommy do not get the designation of journalists on YouTube. So things that official sources can show, like more graphic stuff, they can get monetized and put that on YouTube, but we can't.
Oh, they can get monetized?
Yeah, but we can't because we don't have that. We're not journalists according per YouTube.
Oh, wait, I didn't know this. So YouTube has to declare you a journalist?
Yeah, because you have like their guidelines are so vague, right? But in the TOS, it's like if it's for like journalistic or artistic purposes, right? But then whenever we talk to YouTube, it's like, oh, but you guys aren't actually journalists. That is true. Isn't that insane?
That's strange.
Yeah, it's very strange. So
and that gets really gray too, because again, like you'll see some of these mainstream channels, the videos are always on the homepage. They got 4 million views, and you're like, who's really watching this? They're pushing it, right? They get to push what they want, and to an extent, I understand. Like, maybe some channels are getting a lot of views that aren't, forget journalism for a second, but just the quality's not there. But because they're more on the internet, they're getting views, and then you have proven networks with billions of dollars behind them, and they want to make sure they get some premium looking content out there. I get that. But when you're using that, talking about YouTube, to then push coverage of things above maybe the same type of coverage of it, perhaps better, that's where it's a constitutional problem.
This sounds made up, but it's actually true. YouTube has a different algorithm for mainstream media outlets than it does for us regular YouTubers.
That's right.
So we're not actually organically competing against them. They get pushed, and that's right. They've confirmed that. But as far as what I do, I know I'm doing a decent job because I don't pander to anyone. I don't have anyone in my pockets, and people don't know what box to put me in. After I did January 6th, people were calling me a far-right white supremacist. They were also calling me a libtard Antifa.
That's good
person. So
that's good for you.
They don't know.
That's good for you.
People don't know whether to call me like a wannabe hood guy or a racist. Like they just don't know where to put me. They don't know if I'm right wing, if I'm left wing, if anything. But I feel like if you have a conversation with me, you could probably get a decent idea of what I'm about. I don't pander to anything. Everything is nuanced. Like when you try to fit yourself into a box, like this ridiculous dichotomy of are you right wing or left wing? It's just absurd. I mean, in my opinion, neither side wholeheartedly has your best interest in mind. It's more a middle ground. You know what I mean?
I agree 1,000%.
It's like, oh, you're sympathetic to homeless people and drug addicts, so you're a liberal. Oh, you're pro-gun, so you're right wing. You know, or like even the topic of abortion. Like, you know, these are things I typically don't like to talk about, but like for abortion, if I say that I think abortion is a bad thing that shouldn't be celebrated, but should be legal, now I've just pissed everybody off.
That's right.
You know, so
you have a similar stance to me on that, for sure. And that's the thing. You can't. I get some of the same attacks. I get called a libtard all the time in the comments, and I think that's totally inaccurate. And then on some things, like I've been called the other way once in a while too, and I take that as like, okay, that's probably a good thing, because you're providing enough nuance that the people who don't hear nuance in anything, they are just on their stance, right? Wherever it is, they hear you as the opposite. And so that means like you're at least injecting something good into the conversation. But, you know, you look at, like, let's take, for example, Rachel Maddow and Candace Owens. To my knowledge, I believe they both do refer to themselves as journalists. Is that possible to be a journalist if you are also someone, in this case, left and right wing, the two cases, where you are common, where a large part of your job is completely injecting your opinion into it?
Yeah, I guess I wonder. I mean, is that yellow journalism, or what form of journalism is that? I feel like journalism is such a broad term.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, I guess like true journalism shouldn't have any spin on it at all. But that's like so almost impossible to be fully non-biased. Like even if you tried your hardest to be non-biased, I feel
it's impossible to be fully unbiased. I agree.
Yeah, but
I agree.
No, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, because I have Walter Cronkite over there in the top left corner, and it should be on the third camera. You should be able to see it, maybe. But you know, he's like the GOAT. Obviously, was pretty much invented being the anchor in this country and everything. But the one slippery slope with him that I actually agree with him, I think he made the right choice. It's just, where does it go from there? Is that when the Vietnam War was going on, he would do these reports from Vietnam and stuff, and he would talk about the horrors of what this war was doing, and the horrors of the soldiers who were there and didn't want to be there. And it started kind of the trend of the people who are saying, well, it's 6 o'clock and I'm reporting the news, to injecting their opinions into it, even though I think he was 100% right. You look at that, 20 years or so after that, 25 years after that, you get CNN and Fox invented around the same time. And it's like now we have these 24-hour cycles where it then they each drifted farther and farther apart. And it's like, well, they offset each other, but they also just make Americans this unhappy fighting dichotomy that distracts from a lot of the things that are happening. So that, you know, when they put through a bill that gives funding, you know, billions of dollars to a bunch of other countries and for their wars, and to also like a bunch of fucking museums that rich people, donors to those politicians, you know, manage while, you know, the country's in the middle of an economic crisis, you're not paying attention to that. You're fighting over whether or not you tuck your sack back or not.
Yeah, no, it's absolute bullshit. And the middle class is suffering. Like, it is so hard. Obviously, you know, if you're in poverty, it's terrible. But yeah, the middle class is there's such a big gap, especially post-COVID with inflation and everything. Yeah, they have us concerned about all these like racial disputes, gender disputes, all these things that are so irrelevant. Meanwhile, it's becoming more and more impossible to live in America as a middle-class regular person. And it's definitely by design. It's rigged. I mean, the interest rates are insane. Like, life is rigged, so you go to high school, you get into debt in college, you got to pay those interests. Say you want to start a business, then you got to get into debt with that, and then you want to buy a house, God forbid. I mean, it's like 7-point-something% interest rate. And, obviously I'm not the most well-read on religion or anything, but it says in the Bible that usury is a sin. Usury is like the practice of making money from money, aka loans, high interest rates. I mean, I think it's a pretty bad thing, and it's obviously really fucking up the country.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we fight over who's going to be president, who's going to be in Congress, and all that shit. The most powerful person in the country is Jerome Powell. Chairman of the Fed.
Yeah.
Who's an appointed figure if they are actually appointed by the president.
And then you see when the banks actually shit hits the fan with the banks, they get bailed out. I mean, it's so rigged. It is so rigged. But yeah, we have more important things to bicker about, right?
Well, and that's the thing. Then we pick the important things to bicker about. Like, you look at war, that's an important thing to bicker about because no one wants to see war. But then that gets used as a distraction. Now I think you did a video from like one of these protests over Israel-Palestine, right? Can we pull that up? What protest did you go to?
I heard that the largest Palestinian protest in American history was happening in DC, so I went there to try to film it.
And when was this?
Oh,
October, November?
I can't. God, my brain is. Yeah, not too long ago. But it's funny. Freaking interesting fact about this video. My mic, I got the wrong cord for my mic, so all the audio was fucked up.
Ooh.
But there's this thing called AI. It's like an AI audio thing that Adobe has, and it saved my whole video. So
no shit.
Shout out to that.
Shout out Adobe. All right, let's play this real quick.
This is what Holocaust is right now. There's over 4,000 kids dead already in Gaza. They died of thirst. Can you imagine? 2.5 million people. You can't even give them water or feed them. Now the whole world is watching, not just the United States. The whole world is watching them die, one by one.
I'm Jewish. I understand symbolism and rhetoric and argument. Anti-Zionism does not equal anti-Semitism. It's just a part of rhetoric used to try and keep this movement what they'd like to describe as an anti-Semitic movement, which it's not.
We are witnesses to one of the greatest genocide that has taken place in our lifetimes, and our tax dollars supports it.
And of course we denounce any terrorist activities. Of course we denounce what Hamas did going in and killing civilians in Israel.
Innocent lives dying, like no matter what, that's not right. But when you're getting tortured, massacred for the last 75 years, targeting children, schools, hospitals, and women, bro. For once, they strike back.
Your face
What do you
is
expect
funny.
them to do? If somebody comes to your house and is trying to occupy your house, kick you out of your house, you're not going to fight back? They're not a terrorist group. They're a retaliation group.
Their whole lives are being controlled by
This shit was
blockades and
chaotic.
stuff, so it makes it difficult for anybody to pursue a normal life.
We're here to show America, and hopefully the American government that's been funding this genocide, that we've had enough. And this is hundreds of thousands of people that probably voted for Biden. So hopefully he gets the message.
What do you think about Joe Biden? He gotta go.
It's like Kendrick Lamar.
He gotta go. I rather have Trump, who I didn't believe in. I didn't know he had nothing but bad behind. I never had no trust in Trump. But guess what? I knew that. Instead of me voting for fucking Joe Biden, that's my language, who lied to me.
I don't know the exact numbers, but there's definitely thousands and thousands of people here. Look at this.
Wow.
Why do you think the American government stands with Israel?
Because they have been bought by the Israel lobby, so a lot of them have the Israeli money in their pockets. I, as a Jew, do not stand for the dislocation and killing of large amounts of indigenous Palestinians who are also Semitic.
Palestinians are a Semitic people, whether they're Jewish, Muslim, or Christian. All
right, let's pause it here and people go watch this video on Brandon's channel. This is really interesting journalism because you are getting, like, there's a range of people here. There's the people, like the stereotypes that we can call crazy who are like, no, Hamas is great. But then you also have the people like, no, fuck that, but like, also fuck this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're getting people who are Jewish, who are just not Zionists. You're getting people who are native of perhaps Palestine or the area, right? So that's an important piece. But shit like this bothers me because no one should like war. Duh, that's easy. And no one wants to see people die. But then some of the worst people get the loudest voice to line up on either side to fight against each other. You get the people from Israel who are like, no, we just have a right to defend ourselves at all costs. It's all bullshit. Everything's propaganda from Hamas. And then you get the people from the other side. It might be like, trans lives matter advocating for Hamas, where they'd be hung if they fucking showed their face on. You know what I mean?
They don't get it.
They don't get it.
Yeah. No, so the interesting thing about this video is there was this like Uhuru people, the Uhuru movement, UHURU, but they were there, I guess, piggybacking off the Palestine protests, and they were demanding reparations from white people. And I tried to interview them, and they made me wait for like 45 minutes, and then they told me that they didn't want me to interview them and to put the cameras down. And then they were like harassing me about like being white and saying I owed reparations or something, and it was just like ridiculous. I was like, well, at least you could talk to me on camera and tell me why I should give you reparations, right? I'm open to hearing about it, but I
don't know what makes people. I know we have our problems. Everyone does. I still think America's the best country in the world. I'm very lucky to live here, but like that mentality of things that happened a long time ago. And then people just on the basis of where they're born, it's like committing the same sin from the other side, saying on the basis of where you're born, you now have to pay for that, right? Like, can't we just fucking get along?
Bro, they were calling me a slave owner. They were telling me that my family owned slaves. Let's break down the numbers, right? If African Americans are 12% of the population and white people are, say, 60% of the population, that means that if every white person tried to own a single slave, which is not how it worked, then only a fifth of white people would own a single slave today. Back then, obviously, the people that actually were slave owners was probably 1 to 3%. Not to say that like the system did not benefit white people and all that. I'm not trying to discount the struggle, but to act like every white person was a slave owner is insane. And you can say, well, yeah, but you still benefited off the system. Fine, but don't call me a slave owner. I'm lucky enough to know my family history, and I know a lot of the complaints is like we were separated from that as far as the African American thing, and I 100% can empathize. But I mean, I have family ties to Carroll County, Maryland, since the late 1700s.
Oh, wow.
Nobody in my family came from big money. Nobody for a fact owned slaves in my family. And actually where I'm...
Oh, you know this too.
100%.
Wow.
And where I live in Carroll County was actually fighting on the side of the Union because it was right there at the Mason-Dixon line, right?
And that's great. None of that should even matter, though.
Yeah.
It's fucking 2024.
I shouldn't even have to, but it's
you shouldn't have to talk about that.
It's just, I don't know. And I shouldn't care, but like when people call me like a slave owner and stuff, it's like, yeah, it fucking upsets me. It's a terrible thing to,
right.
for them to look at me that way.
100%. And like in your case, your family actually was here. I don't have any family on either side that was here like before 1880, right? Alessia, you definitely don't, right?
Dude, half Cuban.
Yeah, Cuban and a little Chinese in there. Yeah, like you know what I mean. But like we could be labeled that. We could be labeled on the street like pay reparations, but for what?
Yeah, yeah. And I don't mean to speak out of turn. I'm obviously not the most educated on this stuff, but it's just my perspective.
Yeah,
like I was raised by my parents to be respectful to everyone. I was never ingrained with hate towards any group. Literally, my mom was like is born in the trailer park, like in the Texas, Arkansas area. Like they were not rich, and I was always taught to be respectful. So it definitely upsets me when people just like they just like rush to judgment. It's like, oh, you're white, so you're shitty, or you're racist, or you're whatever. It's just everyone's lived experiences, and it's their perspective. And I don't mean to judge them, but my perspective is like, that's just not me.
Again, it's not like white supremacy is not the number one direct threat to America, and also like racism does exist. You can say both things at the same time.
Yeah, it's nuance,
yes.
Right? And it's like it's hard to speak on it, and I guess you can tell in the way I'm talking that I'm trying to be careful because it's like, I say something, and then they clip it, and then they say, oh, look, this guy's a piece of shit. When it's like, man, you're not even trying to hear me out. You're not even trying to have the conversation. But that's the way America is right now with the media and the sensationalism and everything. And people have such short attention spans and are so stupid. Not to say they're stupid and I'm smart, but they're like, people want to look at you and put you in a box immediately. If they can't find out if you're right or you're left, it frustrates them, and they're just like, they're just trying to box you in so quickly.
Do you think we're going to come out of that era?
I hope so. But I don't know. Is it getting better or is it getting worse?
I actually think at the moment some of it, the vitriol is getting worse. But I think the general population, I think it's getting a little bit better. I think people are exhausted. I think people are like, they're exhausted by all the cancel culture. They're exhausted by all the labeling. It still happens. It's still way too pervasive. I'm very concerned about it, but it feels like the last couple years, some people are just like, just let me live, man.
Yeah.
You know?
It feels like the people who are yelling at it feels like the people who are screaming the loudest that they're good people and that they stand for justice and they stand for humanizing you or humanizing people in general are the quickest to label you a Nazi or a racist or any of these things that are the most dehumanizing terms. There's nothing worse in our society in America right now than being like a racist or a Nazi or homophobic. And you can do anything and they'll call you that.
That's
people call me a freaking Nazi. It's like, come on, bro. That's just insane.
They've delegitimized all these words.
Like I'm out here like Sig Heiling and stuff and like advocating to like
it's ridiculous.
Like it's insane.
You shouldn't even have to talk about it. But you know, that's a great point you make. The people who want to like what's the psychological phenomenon where you call people what you are that you hate about yourself? Right? It's the same thing. That's what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They're calling people you're full of hate, you're whatever. Well, what the fuck are you doing? You're just picking out people to point at and say they're full of hate for no reason and you don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
You know, there's no difference there.
It doesn't even make sense. I mean, and people try to call me, I already said it, but people try to call me a culture vulture. They're like, oh, that's the white boy going into the hoods trying to profit off of the black struggle. It's like, everywhere I go, I'm bringing attention and I try to make it, paint a reality, but also show a positive light. I promote their music, all that. They ask me to come in there and what do you want me to just... Should I avoid all black people? Like, what's your alternative here? You're telling me I shouldn't go talk to people in the hood or I shouldn't go talk to black people? Or it just seems weird. Like, you're insulting me and jump into conclusions, but you're not really offering a counter solution. Like, I'm appropriating black culture because I like hip hop. All right, so let me stop listening to hip hop. Like,
that's right. It is the social problem of just wanting to scream about a problem. And invent one.
Like, where's the line between appropriation and appreciation?
Yes, I love that line. That's good. Yeah, I don't. The term cultural appropriation, almost every time I see it used, I'm like, what are you talking about? It takes a rare one for me to be like, okay, all right, that's crazy.
I love Pokemon. Am I appropriating Japanese culture? I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Am I appropriating Brazilian culture?
Yes, you are. You need to stop doing that.
It's like we should all be able to appreciate things from different cultures that we enjoy, and we should not be so divisive. Everything is just so incredibly divisive. And if you want to go down the rabbit hole of like who invented what and who did what, I mean, that's a slippery slope right there. If you want to start claiming things, it's like, oh, well, we invented jeans. If you wear jeans, oh, we invented basketball. If you were like, come on, that's so petty.
Doesn't stop. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
It's like where you can't draw the line. But like I've talked about this with a ton of people on the podcast because it's a core question I think about all the time that challenges me that I hate. But my friend Andy Bustamante, who is allegedly an ex-CIA spook, did you ever have access to, let's say, government secrets that were so big that humanity could never find out about it?
Humanity is too big of a word. So I would say I have absolutely had access to secrets that would impact how the American public would respond.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning the roles that I filled, the operations that I participated in, were operations that were relevant and impactful to Americans. They were relevant and impactful to other countries as well, but never humanity as a whole.
But are you ever out of the CIA? He had a line when I had him in for episode 107 where, because he's like very logical, like to a fault. Like he just says, well, this is what I see, so take it as it is. But he's like, we need an enemy. He said, we need an enemy to unify against. And it's not because he wants that. He doesn't. He hates war. He's seen the worst of that. But he's like, there's something about humans in large tribes where when they don't have something that is against them that they can all agree on bad, right? Mm-hmm. They turn in on themselves. And so because we are also geographically well located over here, we got oceans around us, these wars are, they're across the seas. We don't have to see them, right? We don't understand what that is. I have a line, I'm like, we've never been invaded, and it shows. I mean, we were invaded in 1812, but you get my point, right? Like, there's something about us where it's like, are they going to have to maybe manufacture some other fucking country to hate that we then all, get behind. I mean, think about that after 9/11. I think maybe it was Tommy actually who talked about it when he was in here. But after 9/11, like, everyone was unified and shit, right? And we don't ever want something like that. But you know what I mean?
Violence dropped all across the nation.
That's right.
But it all comes back to human nature, right? Like they say, idle hands are the devil's playground. You know what I mean? So humans are problem-solving creatures. I feel like some of the times I've been the most depressed and struggle with my mental health the most is when I don't have obstacles in my life that I can work towards solving. Like, we have to solve problems. If you sit back and you do nothing, you're always going to be depressed. You know what I mean? It's like comfort breeds pain, pain breeds comfort. It's all a cycle. And like back to when we're talking about community, we need community. Community is when we get together, our human nature comes together and tribalism is formed. Think about how fired up people get about like, oh, Ravens versus the Steelers. Like, it's just our human nature. We need to solve problems. We need to have an enemy. We need to be working towards something. So that's like hard times create weak men, hard. That you get what I'm getting at?
Yes.
So it's the same thing. But
absolutely,
it's definitely fascinating, and we're so talk about privilege, bro. If you live in America, it's a privilege, and it's a privilege to have these issues. Like, first world issues is a privilege, for sure.
Yeah, and you understand that. And I think part of that is because of the type of content you're doing. But like you mentioned it earlier, you're also, you got your house where you grew up now. You're near your family. You have your priorities in order. Obviously, you spend a lot of time on the road, but like, you didn't do the LA scene and stuff like that. And that's what a lot of people in this business, they go out there and they do that. Have you spent some time out there, though, specifically, and seen what that's like and realize it's not for you? Or did you just always kind of know that's not for you?
Yeah, well, that Danny Mullen guy, that was my second experience going out to...
Oh, he was in L.A.
And that was 4 days in. And I saw how as soon as he like flipped that switch, if I wasn't cool anymore, it's like, damn, like... It was just very odd. It was just very odd how like people started looking at me differently, just because some guy made up some stuff about me. So yeah, no, LA's not for me. But there are obviously, like everywhere, there's good people out there. But no, the LA thing is insane. Yeah,
some of it, I think there's such a separation now between like, I guess like Main Street society and like elite society, that they're kind of in their two perches, and they think the worst about the other at all times. But, sometimes some things are also true, parts of that. And like, you see some of the clubbishness of like Hollywood and the cliquishness. It's very narcissistic. It's very self-aggrandizing, right? And it's not, I think it's, it propels that attention-seeking society for all the wrong reasons. So the people do things for, strictly entertainment purposes and don't think about the social repercussions those things can have.
Yeah, it feels like some people in LA will like throw you out the window to get a few miles down the road faster. It's all about social climbing.
That's right.
And coming from the wrestling community, which is one of the best, like martial arts in general, some of the best communities you could ever have. Like, there isn't social climbing in those things. Like, you're really rooting for everyone. And it's so positive. But
it's beautiful.
Back on the subject of privilege, obviously there's, racial privilege and all that. But bro, the biggest privilege I feel like you could ever have is parental privilege. If you follow it across the board, single family households, it's in line with graduation rates and income across the board. You know what I mean? The stronger the family unit, the stronger the children will be. And I just feel like the biggest privilege I've had in my life is having a good mom and a good dad. Because, like, bro, I didn't have to pay for my first car. They got me a $1,200 PT Cruiser when I was 16. I would never have afforded that,
Right.
Like, how are you going to come up with $1,200 when you're making $7.25 an hour as a kid? And they let me live in their house for free after I turned 18. I didn't have to pay any rent at my parents' house until I was like 26, until I started actually making money on YouTube. And I was like, oh, like, Mom, like, I think I should be helping you out. So, I mean, it's just like the biggest privilege in the world. I don't care what race you are, bro. Like, having two parents that look out for you is a big deal. And if you look at the number one financially successful ethnic group in America, it's Indian Americans.
Family unit.
They have a really strong family unit, and they are, I believe, like the median household income for Indian Americans is upwards of $140,000, $150,000 a year. And for white people, it's like $70,000. For black people, it's like between $40,000 and $50,000. So if the biggest privilege in America is what race you are, then how do you explain Indian Americans killing it so hard? And I know you could say, oh, maybe they're sending the best of their best, but I think it's really about the family unit. And again, if someone thinks I'm ignorant and I'm off about that, I'm totally open to speaking about it. I'm not trying to cast anyone's view aside, but I feel like parental privilege should not be undervalued.
I totally agree with what you're saying, man. And I also share a very similar experience with my parents. I've always said, like, this podcast never happens without them. They let me move back into their house and have a studio there, right? Like, a lot of people don't have that opportunity. A lot of people don't have both parents at home. You know, they're divorced, or, you know, in the worst cases, one parent's in prison or something like that. So, yeah, the data doesn't lie. And I think that we, you know, society needs to be free and people do what they want to do. But there's some level of, like, some standards when you talk about, like, the nuclear family and things like that, that if we just emphasized it a little more, that would be good for us. It feels like sometimes it's almost not just de-emphasized, but, like, discouraged in a way. And that makes me very sad because, you know, I wouldn't have had that childhood. Like, I want to have a great wife and family with awesome kids one day, and I think that's going to happen, and, like, I'll get there. And I feel like I talk to a lot of people now who don't, not a lot of people, but talk to more people than I'd be comfortable saying who that's not, like, something they want.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I have an amazing girlfriend now, but, like, before her, man, I feel like I came into contact with a lot of girls that would tell me outright they don't want to have kids. And they don't even want to have a family. And I do feel like we've been somehow de-incentivized to start families, and it's just like the family unit is all broken up. But if you click that Wikipedia link, list of ethnic groups in the United States by household.
Oh yeah, here we go.
And you scroll down, there should be, find the one that's like Asian. It's for Asian Americans.
Indians one right here.
Yeah, 100. It says on there.
Medium household right here.
$152,000.
That's crazy.
Do you want to know how? Do you want to know how I found?
Second place is 101.
And then look at you know.
But actually, on your point though, look, Indian, Filipino, Iranian. These are all, like, not white people.
So scroll up, up right there. No, up a little more. One more. I'm sorry. Right there, you can see. Go to the income on the right and sort it top to bottom. Yeah.
Hit the 2 arrows above that. See that?
So right there, you know, African Americans 47,000, and you have white people at 73,000, Asians at 97,000. It all comes back to the household, in my opinion. And of course, if there's another reason, I'd love to be informed. Yeah,
I mean, another culture I grew up around. I mean, I'm from Jersey, so everyone is Italian, Irish, or Jewish. But then I also, my best friend from all my life is Greek. He's a dual citizen. And I grew up around the legal Greek mafia, as I like to joke. But they're amazing. And the thing about them is they are so close-knit here in everything they do. And they have such good family structure that they're all successful. Mm-hmm. Literally all the ones I know, they all do well. They stick together, and then they're also in American culture. It's not like they just stick together and stay away from people. That's such a beautiful thing, and I think we could foster that better instead of this teams thing. Like, Greeks don't have a teams thing, like Greeks versus white people. It's not like that, you know. But society pushes these racial battles and undertones to everything on us. And I'm not arguing it doesn't happen. I agree with you. It does.
But it definitely gets clicks.
Yes.
That's for sure.
That's the problem.
Do you know how many people in America would rather put their parents in a retirement home than actually take care of them? Like, how has our society, like, got to this? It's insane.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost against human nature. I mean, is that like the new American dream? Is like, oh, make as much money as you can. Don't raise your kids. Then when you get old, your kids can put you in a retirement home and we're all separated. You know, it's like weird if you live with your parents. That's like become like, oh, you're a loser. It's like, no, I literally went out of my way to get a house near my mom with acreage. So when she wants to retire, she could sell her house and then maybe build property on my property.
That's awesome.
I want to be near my family because community is everything. Right. But back to the house thing. So the reason I found out that the Indians were making so much money is because I've been looking for a house for over 2 years. I put in between a dozen and 20 offers, and I kept getting insanely outbid. And at all these open houses in Howard County and Carroll County, Maryland, it's Indian people. And I'm like, bro, what is going on? Like, every time I see it like it's Indians at these houses, and then like I don't know, it's insane. Like Ellicott City, Maryland, between 2000 and 2020, like the population of Indian Americans in that area has gone up by like 25%, right? And that's neither good nor bad, but I'm just saying that is what informed me to the fact that they had so much money. The house that
you see it up close.
The house that I got, it's 1,100 square foot house, cost $531,000. And
well, how many acres do you have?
3 acres.
Okay, that's why.
But I mean, in 2019, the house was probably worth $300,000. But an Indian couple put an offer for, and I don't think it's even legal that I know this. So this is allegedly, I think. I don't think I should know any of this stuff, actually.
Hypothetically,
an Indian family put a cash offer in for $535,000. Cash. And the reason they didn't get it is because the homeowners had a living situation lined up that fell through. So they wanted to be able to rent back for up to 6 months to give them a cushion to find a new living situation. And the Indians were like, no, we need it right away. And I said, yo, you can live there for fucking 2 years if you want. Stay as long as you want. What can I do?
You want a squat? Go ahead.
You want a foot massage? What's up?
Oh, my God.
There's a house in Howard County, Maryland, Ellicott City, the place I was talking about, listed for $450,000. It was a...
How close is that to, like, D.C.?
30 minutes.
Okay.
In Ellicott City. So it's a great central location. But it was a 3/4 of an acre property, 1,000 square feet, disgusting on the inside. Needed to be completely gutted. 1 bathroom, 3 bedrooms, 6-foot ceilings in the basement. Just horrible. But I was like, you know what? Maybe I could get this for like $475 or something, and it could be an investment property. I didn't even want to live there, but this is like while I'm house hunting, I'm like also looking like maybe I could invest in something in the meantime and then flip, try to do something. And dude, I think it sold for like $600,000 in cash. And they said that presumably the person was just gonna level it and build a big home.
You know, this does there's something up because it doesn't make sense. I remember when the pandemic hit, obviously, like, we thought the world was ending for a short time there, but within 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, something like that, all the real estate guys I know were like, dude, the market's insane. Like, because I guess there was some natural effect, like people were trying to move out of cities into homes because they don't want to be locked in the city. I get that. But like the prices went like that. And even though we've had, you know, massive rate increases since then, it still seems like the housing market's not hot, but prices are still high. And there's no way that can end well. Mm-mm. You know, I don't know how that ends. I don't have a crystal ball. I'd be really rich if I did. But, you know, that something about that seems very insider jobby. You know, like when you look back on 05, 06, 07, it was, you know, they knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. We didn't know it at the time, but they did.
Yeah, and then you see like my video in Hawaii, like foreign investors are coming in, buying up all the property. Now you have all these short-term rentals and stuff, and things are skyrocketing. And not to mention like the price of property taxes is insane. God. Like you can own a house that you bought for $100,000 30 years ago. Now your house is worth $800,000, and you might not be able to afford your property taxes.
That's right.
My mom and dad are such hardworking people, right? And they could have each retired 6 years ago and 7 years ago, but they can't retire because they can't afford their mortgage and their home payments. Both of my parents, after working for 36 and 37 years, will have to sell their home to retire.
That's fucked up.
That's sad.
Yeah.
You know, that's sad. And that is just a testament to the middle class, the situation of the middle class.
Yeah. You ever read Steven Pinker's books?
I need to read more, I think.
He writes about from a numerical perspective, the positive trends in society of human history. And it's actually great to read because we hear all this negativity, and like he just writes it very straight-laced, like, well, according to this data, you know, we're killing less around the world by this number, we're getting more sustenance, stuff like that. So it's cool. But he talks about there's a chart that happens. I'm trying to remember. I think it starts at like the beginning of the 80s where he shows the disparity. It's basically the wealth gap chart, and it shows what happened in the middle class, and essentially their buying power has been totally taken away. So people are promised these dreams, like you come out of college, you go to a corporation, what do they give you? They give you a retirement account. Mm-hmm. Oh, start building this. You might have $4 million by the time you're 65, and you can, but what's $4 million when you're 65 when you actually get there? They give you this time value of money and just tell you like, oh, this is going to work. You don't know that it's gonna, and there's a lot of people who are coming up on retirement now. Like, do I even have the money to do this? And then imagine, like, when our generation gets to that retirement age. Number one, how long are we living at that point? Number two, what's a dollar worth at that point? Is it still even the reserve currency in the world? And number three, you know, who even got out from underneath their student debt?
Yeah, they're still drowning in it.
They're still drowning in it. It's like it's going to be like, hi, welcome to Walmart for an entire generation.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And man, like me buying my first home, like this happened like 3 days ago that we finally got the contract.
Oh, congrats, man!
I can't afford a $531,000 home. Like literally, that was the max. I put a escalation clause in that was like, I was like, I'm gonna, because I haven't got any homes. All the offers I've put in have fallen through. So I was like, I'm gonna put an ignorant offer in, so they can't deny it. And then next thing I know, it's like, oh yeah, we reached your max on your escalation clause. Now, like I'm very, very afraid that I'm not gonna be able to afford my house payments. Like I think my house payments with my utilities and stuff is gonna be upwards of like $3,500 to $4,000 a month. And
how much are you spending on a video? Give or take?
My Puerto Rico video that I just dropped last, I think cost me with flying ABG Neil out, the camera guy, paying like $4,000.
That's actually less than I thought you were gonna say, but that's still, yeah. And that's every kind of video.
That's more
not
on
like the St. Patty's
expensive
Day
side,
one,
but yeah, the video is at least going to be costing me $1,000. Like I would say, unless I'm having my girlfriend film and I'm editing by myself and I'm not traveling anywhere and you know all that. But
and time, I mean, Christ.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely putting at least 60 hours a weekend. But yeah, I'm very, very afraid about this new home purchase. But I had to do it because there's not enough space in my mom's house for me to have kids. There's such little space. I have very limited space. So like, you know, obviously I want to get married and have kids. I want to have at least 4 kids. I'm already 28. My girlfriend's 28. I have to get to work. So it's like I have to get a home. And so I could have got a house in West Virginia or Pennsylvania for probably $400,000, way nicer than my house that I got. But then now I'm separated from my community.
That's right.
It's like what am I supposed to do? Just keep waiting, and then you risk with age, like, you know, having developmental issues with your child and stuff. And so I'm really, really, really hoping that my YouTube channel is going to continue to do well and that it won't be a stress. But I wiped out my entire bank account to get this home, and
I think it's going to work out for you. I think your channel's doing great.
It's one of the scary, like right now,
it's scary.
It's one of the scariest I've ever been. Like, just like, man, I hope I can make this work. But if shit hits the fan, I can sell the house and go back to living with my mom and stuff. So
I think it's going to work out. And like, you know, a lot of people listening, like if we start as content creators, like talking about the issues, they'll be like, oh, shut the fuck up, you make content. And we're really lucky to do this. And I love doing it, but it's a business, right? And when you own your own business, you take risks, and people at home, they see your videos, right? They see my videos. They don't see that risk behind the scenes. They don't see what goes into that. I'm not trying to like talk it up or shit like that, but I get it. You know, you walk around with that stress because you're like, you don't control what's going to work next. You don't control if YouTube's going to say, we don't like this video as much, even if it's doing well and you did your job, right? And then you also have priorities. You want to start a family. You want to have a home. You want to be near your parents, and you want to do what you love, but there's a lot that goes into that. And I think there are a lot of fans out there who have some understanding of that. But it's nice to hear you open up and give a real play-by-play of that behind the scenes, because I think people need to hear that more.
Yeah, and honestly, if it came down to it, like I wouldn't be surprised if in the next year or two, like if I were to get a solid paying job offer, like I might not do YouTube anymore. You know?
Really?
100%. Because my biggest priorities would be stability in my community, and YouTube takes me away from my home a lot, and it's also very, very up and down income. And I don't trust these social media sites. Like I thought for the longest time my Instagram was shadow banned, right? And then now Instagram's released a new thing that it tells you outright if you're not. Like, so.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Is
that real though?
Bro, it comes up on my account. It literally says this. I'll show it to you. So like, if you look up my name and you don't follow me, I don't come up.
I couldn't find him. Yeah, I couldn't find you.
Your account can't be shown to non-followers.
So,
your account activity may not follow our recommendation guidelines.
Yeah, so I've appealed this, and I'm trying to get a contact at Instagram. That's just a screenshot. Because if you type in my name on Instagram, Brandon Buckingham, I have 72,000 followers. I will not show up. All these other accounts show up with like 400 followers. You have to type in Brandon_Buckingham directly, right?
Really?
It's so weird. Like I was getting...
For what?
I don't know. I was getting like 15 to 20,000 story views. I know it's a weird thing to keep track of, and then it's like boom, now I'm getting like 2,000 to 3,000 out of nowhere, and it's like you can see it shows you in your analytics, your impressions, they just drop overnight. So what if that happens on YouTube? Like now I'm in this predicament where I have a lot of pressure on me. I have to be able to provide for my family. So yeah, if I could get a more stable position that was guaranteed, I would be willing to do it. But what my dream with YouTube is that I'm going to be able to, have more time with my family. I'm not going to have to travel as much. And I have like 30 or 35 videos unreleased in the vault. So
oh shit,
I'm going to keep on traveling, keep on stacking stuff up. So whenever the kid comes, you know what I mean? I can be there as much as I need to be.
I think you're going to be fine because now you're finally like it. I've seen it over the last few months. Like you're growing at a good clip now. Because that was the thing. When I found you at the time, I want to say you had maybe like 250K, something like that, 275. You were the biggest 250 or 275K creator by fan rabid following and like name recognition of anyone I have to this day ever seen. And I'll say it at what you're at right now, 576 or whatever. I'll say that about that now too. And like this is starting to grow, and I don't think you're gonna have a problem because I want to see you on YouTube. I don't want to see you take a job at like you've already taken all the biggest risks just to get to this point, and like you're so ahead of the game. I mean, 35 to 40 in the vault. Holy shit, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like that is such a good thing, and I have a good feeling about this for you.
Yeah, I really hope it works out. But it definitely freaks me out, like, because it's like you go through these big spans. You can see in your YouTube studio, if you go to your audience, there's the purple line and there's the blue line, right? Yes. There's returning viewers or like your subscriber viewers and new viewers. And it's like sometimes that blue line is flatlined. And that just means that YouTube is not showing you to anyone. Yeah. And you can't control that. And that's why I've had to incorporate my wrestling mindset of outcome independence. Like all I can do is make the best video I can that I'm interested in, that I think is good, put it out, and then I can't control anything else.
Can't control it. It doesn't. That's the thing I've learned about YouTube. It doesn't have to make sense.
But yeah, like I've put so much into this and sacrificed so much, and I'm not going to sacrifice like my family and my community. So like if it does come to that, I will pick a stable career over YouTube.
And I don't blame you at all for that.
Yeah, but I would love, and I appreciate you so much for like seeing my value and stuff, because I would love to freaking keep going. But I feel like it's out of my hands. I can't work any harder at YouTube than I'm working. I can't, like, I'm really trying my best. I'm very, very confident in that. And I'm also proud of my my resume. Like if I stopped YouTube today, I would be able to be like, man, like I did right by people, made so many good friends, covered stuff that I was interested in, and I'm like really, really happy I got to do that. Like I'm so thankful for it.
Yeah, man.
But hopefully it keeps going.
What do you want this to develop into? Like what kinds of things do you want to cover? Like in a perfect world, 5 years from now, if you're on YouTube, when you're on YouTube, what type of content would you be making?
I literally hope I'm doing the exact same stuff.
Exact same.
Yeah. Whenever I want to be funny and I want to vlog with people and just have a good time and make memories, I can do that. Whenever I want to cover serious issues, I can go do that. Whenever I want to do profile pieces about people I'm interested in, I can do that. I don't feel limited. I don't ever have to worry about, oh, but what does my audience want? What does this want? I literally do whatever I want on YouTube, and that freedom is awesome. And I'm very aware of my analytics. If I started doing a certain type of content and just did that, I probably might be a little more successful on like a numbers standpoint. But I feel like some of the reason that I have such a strong Patreon following and such a strong core community is because
you have like 2,000 people on Patreon.
Yeah, around that.
Fucking amazing.
I don't like pander to anything. Like I just do, I do what I want to do, and I stay true to myself. And like there's moments where like, for instance, I was in a hood of New York. I don't want to say where I was, but the people I was with, they wanted me to naughty bop.
To what?
Naughty bop. It's a trend. There was this 14-year-old rapper.
Naughty bop
from Sugar. There's a 14-year-old rapper from Sugar Hill that was stabbed to death in the subway, and they made a dance. These guys named Kyle Rich. He's from a group called 41. Jen Carter, Tata. They made a dance mocking him called the Naughty Bop, where you would, simulate stabbing yourself in the hips, and the chorus is like Naughty Bop, and I'm punching my hips. Come here, got to do it like this. So when I was in this hood,
we got it on the screen right now.
When I was in this hood of New York, just the other day, they were like, "Yo, you're here right now. You got a naughty bop. You got a naughty bop." And I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that." Like, "No, you have to." And I was like, "Bro, I'm not doing that under any circumstance." And then
Good for you.
And then they're like, glared at me. Like, oh no, we respect that. We really appreciate that. But like then you have these clown ass streamers like N3on, you know.
Oh, dude, what is this? Listen, before you say this, I don't understand streaming, so I have to put a huge asterisk on this. Like, I don't get it. Me and Tommy were talking about this, but like, what is the deal? Like, why do people like a guy like that?
I must be the younger generation because there's a huge gap. But that like this, he's such a punk in my opinion because N3on naughty bopped, right?
Of course he did.
Mocked the death of Didi Osama's brother, Naughty. And then Didi saw him in public and made him apologize, right? And he backed down and he apologized.
Oh, do we have video of that?
Yeah. And then what do you think N3on's next move was? After he apologized and got embarrassed. You think
tried to say he got like ambushed and he would have never done it if he didn't get ambushed in public? That'd be my guess.
Yeah, he runs on to the camera and like challenges him to a boxing match.
Of course he did.
And you know he's never going to do the boxing match. He's just so disrespectful. Like, he's just such a piece of shit. Like, he deserves to get squirted with mayonnaise in his face.
All right, hold on. Let's.
He deserves to get the mayonnaise treatment.
Is this it? N3on apologized to Didi Osama for doing Naughty Bop.
See, what this is like this new TikTok format. We're like, why is Pootie on the screen? I don't even understand. It's like another thing.
Why are they streaming outside?
I don't.
Shit is confusing. But yeah, that's N3on in the bottom.
All right.
Naughty bopping.
Play it.
All right, that's smooth. That's smooth. All right, let's go. Let's get some tickets.
Let's do it. Let's get some tickets.
Let's do it, chat. Let's do it.
Let's do it, chat.
We also have some shit planned at 7. I don't want to say what it is, but it's gonna be very good, man. I like streams like this. Fuck shit like this, chat. Just chill, good vibes, man. Didi Osama, let me apologize, and I need a black person in the frame so I look hard.
Oh my god.
No. I actually need to, bro, listen. Because I had
the amount of Vyvanse this guy's on.
A really weird dream. A really, really weird one. On God Wallahi, I had a dream that I was in downtown LA. I was streaming with my little brother and I got shot on the head. I swear to God. So that opened my eyes and I want to genuinely apologize to Didi Osama and his family. I did not mean that. R.I.P. Naughty in the chat. Spam it up. R.I.P.
Come on.
He's with you, Didi Osama Heavy, and if you want to collab or anything, if you want me to pick
if you want to
collab,
I fuck with you, man.
unbelievable.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so then I guess they collabed. Didi made him apologize, and then he was on the Misfits thing, like calling him out to a boxing match. But yeah, the kids like N3on, kids like Sneako.
It's an inside job? Like, do you think it's like, they're plotting this out to get attention?
I hope so, because if it's really like organic and it's society driven, it's a terrible sign for the state of the youth.
That's right.
Because these people, they have no honor, they have no respect, and in my mind, their only talent is being like a shape shifting leech. Like they suck, bro. They take from everything.
Yeah, I agree.
And I have zero respect for them, and I dislike them so strongly. Like, oh my god, like they're like some of the worst of the worst.
Well, I know some of this is touching. You don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about, but you bring it up right there, obviously. Like, I found you through that Sneako documentary you made. And Sneako, I think, I don't know the guy, but to me, he's a prime example of when the internet morphs who you are and you will say anything for attention, because when you run the tape on him, I mean, he contradicts himself every 5 minutes. He changes who he is completely. And you had like something where you were trying to set up what became the Ice Poseidon match, but you were trying to do it with him, and we're doing some boxing promotion and said something funny and maybe slightly over the line to him, but it's in a boxing promotion. And then he like accused you of saying you wanted to R-word his girlfriend, which you never said. And this turned into a whole thing where then you put together a documentary, which was incredibly edited, by the way, outlining who he is, and that continues to cause problems for you to this day. No,
yeah, no, that was definitely. I know people are like, oh, who cares if you didn't do it? Like, who cares, bro? I like literally had thousands of people harassing me and harassing everyone I know, and calling
like your family.
Yeah, like calling me a sexual assault or whatever, essay or whatever you can say on YouTube. All because he's like a little fucking coward. You know what I mean? Yeah, like what I said to him in the story, like
in the Instagram story.
Yeah, I stooped to his level and I tried to take a dig at him, right? Because I just got signed to a boxing promotion and I want him to take the fight. But like, man, to make up a lie like that about someone and put that evil on someone is crazy. Because I'll still get it. I'll still have people every now and then that'll be like, "Oh, you're a rapist." It's insane. But what a pussy. I mean, this guy's whole thing is seek truth through funny. Who makes up a fake claim like that and then doesn't even want to like talk about it Like he won't debate me, he won't fight me. He's just like a coward. They're like, oh, you're obsessed with him. It's like, bro, this guy is like, his fans just harass me about that stuff. But it's definitely better now. So especially thankful to Willie Mac Show, Moist Critical, KSI. They helped clear my name.
KSI hopped in and helped?
Yeah.
What'd he do?
Put out a tweet saying that, Sneako was ducking me. And then they were like, oh, what happened? And then it helped reveal the thing. Moist Critical, when he had his whole beef, he called him out for not fighting me. And that just shed a light on like that he said these lies about me and then wouldn't fight me. That made him seem like a coward. The only people he wants to fight are people weaker than him or people that are so much stronger than him that if he loses, it wouldn't matter. Like Sean Strickland.
Right.
Like, oh, he's so brave for fighting Sean Strickland. That's a win-win. He's not supposed to do good, and it shows he's brave. So it's like, he's a coward. He would never take a fair matchup.
Yeah, Alessi, because I turned you on to that doc to watch that a few days ago when we were talking about bringing in Brandon. Yeah. You had a really good takeaway with Sneako, like psychologically, as far as like he's all these different people at once or something.
Yeah, he's just got an incredibly mixed personality. And like, I studied psychology in university, and one of the things he does is he's just constantly going through phases of emotion. Like in that video, you did such a great job breaking down where he's so angry and frustrated, and then he's so sad and he turns around. And then he walks away, and he's crying, and then he comes back, and it's like, W chat, let's go. And I'm like, how do you move from emotion so quickly? Like,
drugs.
As a person, drugs, yeah. But as a person, like, if I get sad, I stay sad. And like, it's a slow change to another feeling.
Yes.
But his quickness in emotions, I'm like, are you even a real person? Like, it's bizarre.
Yeah, I think I retweet.
Yeah, and that whole incident was so, I'm a relatively sensitive guy, and I've never had thousands of people calling me those things. It was my first time dealing with that. And, I didn't upload for like, I think over 8 weeks. It derailed everything. Like, I was really, really like in a bad mental headspace. Like it was really fucked up. And I learned a lot from that. Now, if something like that were to come up again, I think I would handle it a lot better. Good. Because now I think I have a better understanding of the reality of the internet. Because, bro, some people that were my fans that really liked me, they turned on you? They turned on me, right? And then when the public tide shifted, now they're back on board.
Do you think some of that was because like Sneako was like trying to get in tight with Tate, and that's like a little culty, that kind of thing? Is that part of what drove it?
Yeah, I mean, this happened in May or April of 2022. Like, this was before Sneako had a really bad rep, and like, yeah, he had a lot of rabid fans and stuff. And yeah, that's when he was just started tating it up and doing all that. And like the month after we beefed, I think the dude gained like 600,000 subscribers on YouTube. So it was just a really bad time for us to have the beef. And we brought my friends into it. He went on to two of my really close friends' streams to tell them about it as well. And
they bought it?
I'll say Julian. I think he did like as good of a job as he could have at the time. I was upset about it we've squashed it. I love Julian. He's a great person. But yeah, the guy Steezy Kane, like, he didn't have my back at all. He didn't say a single word to defend me. He just let him get on his stream and say all these horrible things. Like, I mean, we barely even know each other. I hope that if another guest would come on and they were like, oh, Brandon Buckingham's a piece of shit scumbag, you wouldn't just
I'd check him on
you wouldn't just be like, yeah.
Yeah, no.
You'd be like, oh, like, why? Like, why are you saying that? And then you say something and they're like, are you sure? Like, I don't know. Just there's no pushback. And this is a guy I lived with in LA. I lived with Steezy Kane for like 6 weeks in LA. Like, I thought we were friends, but I've definitely learned that YouTube blurs the line between business and friendship.
That's right.
And I'm not looking for very many business relationships typically. I'm looking for friends. But when I run into people that just want business relations, then I just got to know that that's what it is, and that to not take things personally because they're not my friend, and that's fine.
People don't want to do the hard thing because they don't want it to happen to them, right? They don't want the same unleashed fanboys on them, that he might do to you. And like, that's the thing. To me, in this business, I think it's a little easier just because I sit in a studio. It's not like a live audience or whatever. Like, I'm going to tell you what it is to your face. You're not always going to like it. But, if he were sitting here right now, I'd give him I might not make Alessi say what his takeaway was, but I'd say, like, you seem very confused. Mm-hmm. You seem like he's been, since I started knowing who he was, which was not that long before your thing happened. It was probably a few months before. He's been in like 6 eras since then. Mm-hmm. It's been 2 years, like, or not even. Like, it's not even that long. Like, he's so confused about who he is, and like, in some ways I feel bad for him because he was doing this as a kid, and I think that's probably not the healthiest thing. But when people tell you who they are, I don't know the guy personally, but like, you should probably believe it. The guy's been fired by Mr. Beast. He was fired by Keemstar. He seems to chase clout. He got in with the Tates, right? The minute Kanye started screaming about Jews everywhere, he's hanging out with Kanye and fucking Nick Fuentes. Like, you know, I look at a guy like that and I'm like, identity issues.
Yeah, so here's the deal. That guy, he grew up in Connecticut and Maine, right? That's where he spent time.
Really?
He comes from a very rich family, private schools, very, very wealthy, right?
Sneako.
Yes, on his father's side, he's Jewish. He used to claim to be Jewish, right? He really, there's podcasts of him talking about how he struggled to get laid until he started drinking publicly. He was never a ladies' man. You know what I mean? So all of these personalities he like shifts through, I feel like it's all just his like weird fever dream. It's all a facade. Oh, he's the one you come to for advice on girls. Like I can never get girls. He's only got girls off of his status and his wealth. Like, oh, he's now this Muslim. He's standing up for what's right and for Islam. That's just because it like Andrew Tate did that. Like it just became trendy.
That's right.
Before he was talking about his father's side and Judaism and stuff. Like he just switches things. He's a chameleon, and you can't try to. This is what I learned. If you try to reason with people like that, they're gonna drive you insane. You know, because it's like I tried to reason with this guy for months, and like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And I was just hitting my head on that wall over and over and over and over, and it started making me prideful. And I read this thing in the Bible that said, pride, the sin of pride is trying to force others the way you see things. And then I never considered myself that prideful of a person. But when I read that, I was like, damn, I need to like take a step back, stop worrying about my YouTube friends not having my back or him saying all this stuff about me, and just like, you know, look, if they want to do that and they want to act that way, then, you know, I think I'll let them live that, you know, personal hell. But it was bringing hell into my life, trying to reason with it and be sane. But yeah, no, I'm super, super happy I have friends around me like, you know, Tommy G, Turkey Tom, even DMV people like Peaks 100, Amont, you know, just really good people
who have your back.
Yeah, like we just see eye to eye on things, and before we're a content creator, like I feel like we're good friends.
Yeah.
So
I think it would also benefit, you know, the content creation wars. Yes, people, you know, will walk into each other's studios and stuff and do things like this, but a lot of it's still separate from behind the keyboard or from behind a separate camera, you know, and I think that's, I mean, it's proven. It's obviously like unnatural, and it brings out things that maybe people wouldn't mean or be like, and some of these situations could be avoided that way. And like we've had one situation with this show where, you know, I got like fucking Keemstar in my DMs asking me questions. When I get that DM, I'm like, shit has gone wrong. We got abort. like, and shout out Keem. I love Keem, but like that's not really. I'm not into that stuff. It just fascinates me how a lot of guys, like some of the ones you mentioned, will use this stuff to not only do negative things, but they'll do it purposely to grow their following. And that's why I asked you a little bit ago if like some of this is like kind of plotted out, like rap beefs, you know, like you know, Kanye's gonna beef with Drake for 2 weeks ahead of their albums, like these things, and part of that's fine, but like it also sets a bad example, I think, to a lot of the fucking 12-year-olds that are fucking listening to everything they do and telling their mom to give them their credit card to buy their merch.
Yeah. No, I mean, one thing about me is I would never fabricate a beef, and I actually would like to be friends with people. I feel like you'd have to go out of your way for me not to like you. You know, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt and whatnot, and hear them out. Like, even if it's like, oh, this guy's undeniably a piece of shit, it's like, yeah, I'll still try to give him a fair shake, you know? And like, especially my videos, like let my audience draw their own conclusions. I don't need to hold your hand and spell things out for you. But yeah, just this new streamer culture, man. It's unbelievable.
Do you think that's a phase, or you think that's a new reality?
I mean, I'm not that well read on the streamer world, but I feel like a lot of this is new. Like, especially with like Jack Doherty's situation, if you know who that is, and like
I know who he is, but what's the situation?
Like these streamers in Miami are just like, it's like Fight Club. They're like sucker punching people on camera and getting into all these brawls, and it's always constant drama. And then there's the OnlyFans stuff, and none of them are friends, and it's just this big backstabbing, just hellhole of shit. And like, you know, like the Neon guy, like he's faked his death. He's faked having cancer.
He's faked his death?
Faked his death. Faked having cancer.
Didn't his girlfriend like fuck his friend or something too? Or did I make that up?
He
was that someone else?
Literally, I don't know for a fact, but I know for a fact he signed this girl named Sam Frank to an OnlyFans deal and pretty much began a fake relationship with her to promote her so he can get a percentage of his shit. I'm pretty sure that was all fabricated. He's threatened to dox people. He's threatened to assault a 10-year-old.
A 10-year-old.
And then recently, the Naughty Bob thing was insane. And I was just on Sugar Hill with, Sugar Hill D-Dot and J-Star Balla, who's Naughty's brother. And it's just fucking the disrespect you have to bro. It's one thing if you're in the streets, right? And you want to, that's your life and you want to diss this 14-year-old who was also in the streets, right? But for N3on to do it, it's like you have nothing to do with that situation. And you're such a disrespectful piece of shit. And then now you want to be friends. And then he gives you a fair shake and then you squash it. And then now you want to fight. It's like, you are a rat.
Yeah, it's attention and just self-promotion, self-growth. You see Dana White kick him out of UFC?
Yeah. I mean,
it's fucking awesome.
He's the dude is disrespectful. Yeah. But hey, look, he probably doesn't have to worry about making his payment on his home if he wanted to buy one.
No, he doesn't. He's doing okay.
So
I just think there's actually a video, find this if you can, Alessi. Sneako talking to kids, Marlins game. You know what video I'm talking about. And like, actually, to Sneako's credit, I think there was a little moment of truth in his eyes. Maybe I'm wrong, but he was like, "Oh shit," when he saw this. The second one right there.
This one came up.
No, go back. Or actually, yeah.
Dude, that's
this
the clip.
This is good. All right, go back to the beginning.
Yeah, it's just that little clip.
Look at the fan base too.
Right.
What?
Kid saying "fuck the women."
No.
Popular
You say all gays should die.
No. Can you go back? I want the actual vid. This is like a reaction. I think it was the second one.
This right here.
No, just go to YouTube directly.
All right.
And type in Sneako.
Sorry, Brandon.
Sneako kids. It's all good. Yeah. Hit that one. That's it.
What did you say? Fuck the woman.
What?
He's like, wait, wait a minute.
No, wait.
Sneako.
We love women. We love women.
What? Not like transgenders.
Yes, sir. We love everybody. No.
All gays should die.
Yeah,
Merch preach.
What have I done?
Yeah. What have I done? Like, I think there was a moment of like, holy shit there. But like, you see this is from just screaming shit on a stream all day and not worrying about repercussions. Look, obviously, like, I fully believe in free speech, say what you want, even the stuff I hate. But like, when all these guys are incentivized monetarily to do that at will, and it's a bunch of impressionable young kids, you're seeing that in real life there. That's scary to me. That shit, I don't have to worry about with Tommy G or Brandon Buckingham content. The kids are going to do shit like that. You're trying to educate people and do it in an entertaining way. This is different.
Yeah, well, I do also want to say, like, I have never portrayed myself as a role model or told people, like, oh, yeah, you should listen to me. I'm the one that has the answers. Like, look, I've done drugs in my life. I've committed crimes in my life. I gamble. Like, you know what I mean? I've taken gambling sponsorships. I got a fake ID when I was 18 to gamble. I love gambling. Like, you could be like, oh, but you're a bad influence. And, yeah, but you could pick and choose what I've done and say that I'm a bad influence, but I'm not here trying to make you worship me, and I'm not trying to hold your hand, right? You can make your own decisions. You could see what I've done that's bad, undeniably. You can see what I've done that's good. You can pick and choose. If you haven't gotten your master's degree and became a teacher, then don't say that I inspired you to gamble or to binge drink. Like, why are you picking the worst parts of me to be inspired by? Because I know people give me shit about that. And I pander to I appeal to an adult fan base. I don't try to appeal to kids. There's a reason I stopped teaching elementary school. And if I do want to appeal to kids, I still coach junior league wrestling. And I appeal to them because I show them wrestling technique. But I'm not out here like, oh yeah, you should look up to me. I'm not the best role model. You know what I mean? I'm a very flawed individual.
You're very self-aware.
Yeah.
That comes across today. Very self-aware.
And it's like crazy when people in my comment section are like, oh, you sold your soul because I did a gambling sponsorship. Or, oh, you're a piece of shit. You're a bad influence. It's like, who do you think I am? And I don't think, if you see one of my gambling sponsorships that I've done and you don't gamble, don't start gambling. You know what I mean? It's just like, for me, my logic behind the gambling thing, because I know it's like unethical to some people, is I've gambled forever and I enjoy it. So if they're going to offer me money that's going to help me fund these trips and stuff, I'm going to accept that. And anyone who would like to gamble using my code, that's great. But I definitely don't want people to start gambling. I don't want people to start drinking. I don't want people to start going into the hood. I don't want people to, quit their job if they have a good job because I did it. But if anything, I hope I inspire people to maybe be less judgmental and like pursue their passions, I guess. But
yeah,
I'm not a role model. You know what I mean? I'm just a guy.
What do your parents think of what you do, and what did they think like when you made the jump in the first place?
Definitely unanimous disappointment when I made the jump because they helped me go through college. So they had to sacrifice things for me to go to college. And then once I got the job as a teacher, I kind of feel like they never said this, but just from the guilt that I had, I felt like I kind of threw away some of their sacrifices to pursue the YouTube thing. But on the flip side of that coin, I sacrificed so much to do what they wanted me to do, which was to go to college. I hated it the whole time. The whole 6 years I hated it. Thank God I had wrestling.
6 years?
Yeah, I got my master's degree.
Oh, shit.
So thank God I had wrestling to keep me involved. If it wasn't for wrestling, I never would have finished college. And shout out to my coach, Mike Hornzell and UMBC. But yeah, I think they were very disappointed in the beginning, understandably so, because like, what are you doing? That's like, oh, you're making $50,000 a year as a teacher. Like in 22 years, you're gonna be making 6 figures, Brandon. You have a great, you have retirement, you have benefits. Like, you spend all this time. How are you just gonna throw it away?
The plan.
But so they also understood a little bit, right? They were disappointed, but I think they didn't give me that hard of a time because the first Thursday of the school year when I taught, my brother died, 34 years old. And he was waiting to retire in the Air Force, or he was a technical sergeant in the Air Force. And he did not like his job, and he always talked about how he was looking forward to retirement. And he would talk about, I'm this amount of years till retirement. Yeah, because he got in early. And boom, he had a heart attack and died, like unexpectedly. Like he just had a heart attack. So that was like crushing to me, obviously, because I'm so family focused, and it was like devastating. And he's an amazing person, huge inspiration. I love him to death. But I was like, damn, if I die when I'm 34, do I want to die having put 10 years into teaching? Like, I just can't be my reality. So I just had to try something. So my parents definitely resonated with that. And they're like, look, if you feel like it's something you have to do, then go ahead and do it. Especially, me sometimes having mental health struggles and whatnot, they just want me to be happy. They want me to be fulfilled. And I was not happy as a teacher. And yeah, so I would say initially disappointment. Now they're kind of like,
came around.
Well, now they're kind of just like, wow, like I can't believe you did this. Name another YouTuber from Carroll County. I don't know any YouTubers I don't know anyone that knew anyone. You know what I mean? I grew up next to Kyle Snyder, who's an Olympic champion wrestler. That was like one of my best friends growing up. But that's like the star of the area. Like,
right.
I had no connections to any content creator, so it just seemed impossible. But now my mom will be like, oh, wow, look, the video has 100,000 views. Oh, wow, the video's got 200,000 views. And I feel like they are proud of me, and they know how hard I work, and just what I stand for, and how I haven't let this stuff change me at all. And
that's good. Yeah, it's clear. You're you. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and bro, I have such good parents, and while they were disappointed, bro, they did allow me to pursue that passion, and now they feel like, I made a good decision.
That's awesome, man. And it's so great that like you're so close with them too, and you're so family oriented as well. I love hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're representing from Carroll County.
Yeah.
What's better than that?
Yeah, lived in the same exact place since I was 5 years old, and my great grandfather is buried in the closest cemetery to my house. So
that's pretty cool.
We have deep ties to the area, and I would like to be a lifer there. I'd like to live there my whole life. The school district that I'm in, South Carroll High School, is the #1 wrestling school in Maryland.
No shit.
Shout out to Brian Hamper.
That's pretty good.
So
do you have other siblings as well?
Yeah, I have a brother and I have a sister. And my brother was a high-level wrestler as well, state placer.
Awesome.
Great guy, huge inspiration.
Do they live close too?
Yeah, they all live close by.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And it sounds like your brother who passed away, you're doing his memory some honor with what you're doing, which is very, very cool.
I have his ashes right here, and this is the cross and the chain that he wore every day.
Whoa.
So,
that's heavy.
But bro, because I used to put out like animations and music and stuff, and this is when I had like, I was getting like 40 views and no subscribers, and he would text me like, "You're a star!" Like he was just always so supportive, and there's like nobody I could relate to more in the world than my brothers, and I love him dearly, and through his passing, I've learned so much, and it's actually made me have more faith in more religion, because I was just like driving me insane. Like, how could God do this? How could God do this? And through like grieving classes and therapy and whatnot, they tell you and religious stuff. It's like faith is the opposite of questioning. So I'm asking all these questions about why my brother's mortality, and it's driving me insane. And it's like the only thing that helped me get through that was having faith. And mind you, I've only been to church like a handful of times in my life. I'm not like, wasn't raised really religious, but yeah, like having faith, it really helped me get over my brother's passing. And he was getting really into faith towards the end in his last 6 months. I have his diary and stuff. So I was able to read through it. He was getting really into faith. So we have different fathers. Joseph Delane, and my brother at the end of his life was doing Bible studies with his father. And then when he passed, I started doing Bible studies with him, and it helped me grieve.
That's awesome. You found something in that, because that's such a, I don't have siblings, but I can't imagine a loss like that so close.
I would not be a YouTuber if it was not for my brother, 100%.
Wow.
And also my other brother that's still alive, like 100%. My biggest supporter is my brother that's still with us, like biggest supporter to this day. I wanted to quit so many times, man. I was 18 months into doing YouTube. I had 35,000 subscribers, and I was negative $20,000 door dashing full time. I released a video every single week for 81 weeks until I hit 100K and I broke even.
Whoa.
And like, bro,
you made a video about that too, right? Like 0 to 100K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh man, I would like cry and just be such a head case. And my brother would just like always do everything he could to make me think positively and be like, stop, like, just keep going, just keep going.
That's awesome, man. You need people like that.
Yeah.
You need people, it can drive you crazy doing stuff like this. You feel like you're busting your hand against a stone wall, but you need the people who see it and like, aren't just gassing you up for no reason. They'll be honest with you too, but like, they're like, hey, keep going. That shit goes a long way, but to get it from your brother is really special.
He's my brother's the one that bought me the GoPro that I used to film all my videos in the beginning. And when I did that Danny Mullen collab, right, I talked about it for a few months with my friends. As soon as I brought it up to my brother, he was like, do it right now. And I was like, oh, I'm nervous. He was like, if you wanted this to happen, do it right now. If you feel you need this needs to happen, donate the money right now.
Yeah.
And I did, and I wouldn't have done that without him. And yeah, man, like I feel like I owe everything to my family, 100%.
Dude, you're an inspiration. You're gonna be all right. You're not taking a job. I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen. Let's keep you going with the YouTube. Your channel's fucking awesome. We're gonna put the links and everything in the description below. Everyone go watch the videos that we started to watch today. They're all awesome. Can't recommend it enough, but I really, really appreciate you doing this on short notice too.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for like making it happen. I know this is the earliest podcast you've done because after this I got to go film more, but man, this was probably the most fun I've ever had on a podcast. Such great conversations. You're such a genuine person, great at talking, great interview skills. Like, I'm not even glazing. You're incredible at what you do, and I want to definitely thank you as well, and thank Tommy G for connecting us. Because
of course, shout out Tommy G, great guy, great guy.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother.
We'll do this again for sure.
Anytime.
All right? Everybody else, you know what it is. Give it a thought. Get back to me. Peace. Thank you guys for watching the episode. Before you leave, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that like button on the video. It's a huge help. And also, if you're over on Instagram, be sure to follow the show at Julian Dorey Podcast, or also on my personal page at Julian D. Dorey. Both links are in the description below. Finally, if you'd like to catch up on our latest episodes, use the Julian Dorey Podcast playlist link in the description below. Thank you.